Oh, yeah, it's on. Right. By the way, I managed to figure out the whole issue that I was having with Capture It and Age of Empires, so I shouldn't have any more issues and we should be good to go.
Yeah, I have had a couple capture age issues recently, but hopefully they are resolved.
All right. So, guys, buckle up, everyone, because we're about to jump into game number 1. It's loading into Capture It, and I'm here.
Let me set the name of the tournament in Capture Age, and here we are. So in the north of the map, we'll have WWP as Lix and Yo, and in the south we'll have Sato and Margugu. And both teams with a Gurjaras player, because this map has extra sheep, extra goats, and they'll put them in the mill. The difference is one of them is on the flank, and the other one is Mr. Yo in the pocket.
That is really interesting. And that is something that, once again, even after the civilizations came out, players wouldn't really start utilizing Gurjaras on this tournament right away. But after it popularized in Battle Africa, I have seen Gurjaras become a lot more, prominent.
Yeah, and as we were talking about, Lix likes to go for those Vil fights and TC rushes. Well, he is the Persians.
Yeah.
Persian flank does have the possibility to douche. So, Sato, I mean, imagine you get douched and then you lose your mill to a TC, and then you lose all those goats.
The thing about this as well is that because we don't have a civilization draft, but we have hidden pick no repeat. They can both teams go for the same civilization, so it's not like one team is going to get wildly ahead of the other because they managed to pick the strong save over here. So that's going to certainly even the waters out a little bit.
Yeah. And it's the other thing to note is that the Persian is also a fairly decent water sieve for the early game. They do miss Bracer in the late game, but early on that extra 50 food and wood is a very nice eco bonus if they do go for some fishing and some early water aggression.
Yeah. On the right-hand side, Lix was here with the scout. He ends up getting pushed away by Margugu. We also have a camel scout from Sito approaching, so it doesn't seem like Lix will be able to do too much over here. But I do like his approach of going forward, and I think he was trying to steal some of the herdables, as after all, with ball players being Gujaras over here, it's going to be a matter of who can exploit it the most, maybe.
Yeah, and I see Lix keeps Xing on the mini-map those two goats between him and Yo. Yo hasn't scouted them, but oh, look at that. Yo has a good 21 goats sitting right outside of his TC. And looks like Lix is still trying to lame some of those goats from Margugu. Oh, wait, is that bug still in the game where the sheep don't get converted as they head into the mill?
Oh, I think that is the case, yeah, because Lix is taking them down now. True.
Yeah, Lix just killed 3 of them.
Yeah. Alright, well that is pretty good. If in the end Mr. Yu is able to take advantage of all the goats, he might get significantly ahead. Will he though?
Yeah, well, it's 20 goats for Sato, and Yo needs some more mills, but it looks like Yo will have some more goats. He is a good, what's that, 24 sitting right outside of his TC. He needs a couple more mills. Just making one now.
And here it comes, man. The machine has been set in motion. Mr. Lix is coming forward, already trying to target the villagers in the wood line.
Yeah, and from experience, if you're going to try to douche someone, the thing you want to do is target their wood line with your villagers, because that makes it harder to rebuild the TC.
Yeah, that is true. And we have seen even Lix in the past get away with walling the villagers and then douching eventually as well, which also secures a good amount of kills.
Exactly. But he doesn't have enough vills here. Sato able to take a bunch of vills to fight back, but this is more idle time for Sato right now. He's trying to use his camel scout to get some kills, and he gets one.
Yeah, there we go. I was a little bit behind. Let me try and catch up. So that's the first pick over here, and then it doesn't seem like we are going to see another one. All the villagers are actually quite healthy.
Interestingly enough, while this is going on, Margugu is the only player who is docked. Yo has not actually docked. He's just going straight up feudal.
That is really interesting. Well, with all the extra food he's gonna get from the sheep, I guess he doesn't really hurt too much by not going for water, but that's a second villager going down for Lix already.
Yeah, that's a good point. If he's building mills, he doesn't really have the wood to add the docks, I guess.
Yeah, I'm pretty curious though, because Margugu has, or actually, sorry, Sito playing with the flanks over here, kind of has an excuse not to go for water. But Mr. Yo, well, you know, I guess he's gonna be still going to be stronger because of all the idle villager time that we get from Sito.
Yeah, I mean, it's Sato and Lix probably going to be both Dark Age for a long time, but I have to think these two mills with 20 goats inside of them will help Sato click up a bit faster than Lix.
That should be the case. And this is what I was talking about. This is what we were talking about earlier as well. Sito's reaction has been impeccable so far. If we take a look at EcoKD, he's not lost a single villager. He's taken 2 from Lix already.
Yeah, and as you had been talking about earlier, maybe they were thinking about Gurjars as a counter-civ to all of Lix's laming. Because I think, 1, you have those mills, and 2, the Camel Scout with 70 HP means that it tanks villager fights a bit more. And if you're going to try to block villagers and stop them from running away, it's a bit more useful than the normal Scout.
Yeah, that is true. We might finally see a first villager go down over here. But, oh, check that unit control, though!
3 HP Vil gets back, and now the militia are coming out for Sato, so he's going to get a bit of a actual military unit involved here.
Yeah. This is Sito finally losing a villager over here. Actually, he does end up losing 2, I think, but that's another villager going down for Lix. And overall, EcoKD has been still better for my insanity.
Yeah, looks like Sato might actually be slightly down in pop, but that's just because he's clicked up to feudal.
That is just
Lix going to be trapped in the Dark Age.
Yeah. Absolutely remarkable over here. We might see another village go down.
Sato is up, and if he can squeeze in the Men-at-Arms upgrade, then these Vils will just be absolutely wrecked.
Let's take a look at resources. He's almost there. He could go for it in a moment. He's going for a house, and now he can deposit the gold. Maybe then he should be able to go for it.
And at the same time, Yo had been thinking about docking, but Margugu's going to have boats over there before the Vils can even get up a dock. So this is going to be full water control for the My Insanity team.
We're only 12 minutes into the game, and it's already starting to become hard to keep track of everything. So, yeah, the villager over there might go down from Mr. Yo. Very good unit control from Margugu.
Yeah, so Lix he definitely has that TC range turned on in the options. He is keeping his Vils right on the outside of that TC whilst he's taking this fight. The scouts from Yo trying to be helpful, but once we get a couple spearmen out, it's going to be harder to use them.
Yeah, and the spearmen start pouring out as well. And there we go! Here comes the douche!
There's the TC.
Beautiful!
There's the TC.
This is what you expect to see with Lix on the civilization on this map in his position, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I guess now the question is, Sito has reacted to this appropriately, and he hasn't really taken too many losses. He ended up still killing more villagers from Lix than the villagers he lost. However, he might end up losing the TC over here, and I don't see an archer range, for instance, to go for a counter-strike or anything, so I'm kind of curious. Is this going to still remain better for Sito?
Yeah, and Sato doesn't have an army, maybe a couple of spears, but now Margugu needs to wall to keep the scouts out of his gold mine, and he does just get it. So it looks like he will be safe for now.
Beautiful.
I see Vils from Lix heading to Margugu's base.
Oh yeah. Of course he's gotta go for it. Let's check. The scouts
he's fighting on the berries.
Oh yeah, true. He's gonna try and wall this. What is this? He's not in the field, so he can.
Oh, he's gonna wall the stable.
Ah, that is really good. Right, that mitigates army production for Margugu. So then Mr. Yo is going to be much stronger here as well.
Yeah, I don't think the gate's gonna hold though.
Pretty good. A few extra villagers coming over from Sito. Scouts coming out. Defender's advantage still here for my insanity.
Yeah, those couple of spearmen from Sato are getting some really nice pokes in on Yo scouts.
Yeah, that's pretty good unit control. Now, my insanity is looking much better for population, both for military and for economy. However, you take a look at Mr. Yo's resources, and this is what we were expecting to see as well.
Well, he's got 30 goats in those mills. So he's going to be getting a lot of food. Probably not going to be as much as Margugu will get from the fishing ships, because he has been adding in... he has 8 of them right now, and he can keep adding in more if he wants to. Might lose a Vil by the docks. But his fishing eco will be very strong.
Meanwhile, on the right-hand side, man, just veil after veil going down from both players. Eco KD is still better for Sito by quite a bit, and even Margugu has gotten a better Eco KD. So overall going to be 16 to 7.
And Sato is rebuilding his TC. I just think Sato's being in the Feudal Age is going to help him out. Although, I guess one thing right now is that Sato doesn't really have any defense for his mills. Lix could potentially wipe them out if he is able to get enough mills to fight them. He'll need to win this fight on the hill first, though.
There we go, and this is pretty good still for... It should be pretty good for Sito. He's just been getting consistently the better engagements over here. And I think
he has archers now.
Yeah, the archers are going to help, and also the spearmen help quite a bit because with good unit control you can just tank with the spearmen and then you can save your villagers like that.
Yeah, well, Yo will be the first one up to the Castle Age. Margugu had gone for those galleys, so he probably will have the stronger eco overall, but there will be a couple of minutes where Yo is up first. And oh, actually Yo docking right in the middle of the map, but Margugu is there with a galley to spot it. And looks like he probably will get the second dock up before the bill goes down.
That's pretty interesting. I don't think I have seen somebody go for docks over there. I guess he was probably just trying to build the docks where nobody would expect it so that he could have a comeback chance.
Yeah, maybe, but Sato does indeed have a mill right there to spot it.
Yeah.
So they knew they were coming.
So we said last time around, it's going to take about 30 minutes of 10 Herdables garrison inside the mill to generate over 1,000 food. If you have 2, that's going to be 1,000 food after 15 minutes only. Oh, yeah, 2 fully garrison mills. And how many did Mr. Yo have? 3? 4?
He has 3, and Sato has 2.
Wait, we have 4 for Mr. Yo.
Oh, he has a 4th? Where's the... Oh, wow, I didn't even see that. Yeah, he has 4. That one only has 6, though. It's not fully garrisoned.
Yeah, that's
36 goats for him.
That is pretty damn strong still. Now we'll see the camels come out for Mr. Yo, and yeah, unfortunately it's not going to be the best raiding unit. I was hoping for something a little bit stronger, maybe some siege over here or something. Would you like to see something else besides the camels?
Oh, I mean, he has the Gojars. It's camels or the Shravamshriders. He doesn't really have knights or options like that. What I'm interested about, though, is that Yo has that War Galley upgrade coming in, and he's going to have fire ships in on Margugu's docks. And if those fish go down, then all of a sudden, Yo, with those extra goats, will have a much better economy.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. So far, he has not been adding any Shravamsha Riders or anything, just going to be extra camels. And Sito is starting to push Lix's base with some spearmen over here, pushing him away from mills. And I think without a mill and without the farms, I don't think he's got enough economy to sustain villager production, does he? Yeah, I don't think he does.
I do like this TC from Yo in the middle trying to claim those golds immediately. That's some good map control from him.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And it seems like it worked out for him to go for the docks at the center. If you take a look at the south, it seems like Mr. Yo will end up pushing Mine Sanity away from water too.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, Margugu doesn't have any fishing ships. And now it's Mr. Yo who has control of the water, and he has the extra goats in that eco.
So let me check. So far we know that Mr. Yo's got 36 Herdables garrison. If we take a look at Sito's got, how many was it? It was 3, right? So he's got 1 with no goats whatsoever and the other 2 with 20. So it should be a matter of time until Mr. Yo pulls a significant lead over here, but he does need to go for the extra TCs to actually take advantage of the extra resources. So I love to see him go for the 3rd TC.
Yeah, and here we have... See, Lix wanted to go for the TC drop on Margugu, but will be pushed away. Mine Sanity has enough army to keep the bills back.
Yeah, once again, unfortunately, Camel's not being quite the strongest unit. The villagers are going to survive for the most part. I think he might lose 2 only. Yeah.
And well, we're going to have those Gurjara's camels with extra attack against the Hindustani camels that attack faster. I'm not actually sure who wins in that matchup, but you do win by having more camels, and that is what Margugu has there.
Yeah, true. And Mr. Yo's will...
I think it's a 2v1.
Yeah, I completely agree that Mr. Yo's been struggling to get ahead. I was probably expecting him to go for, you know, a little bit of faster castle time, maybe try to go for the extra TCs a little bit sooner. Might be too rough to ask honestly, but yeah, he's not managed to get a strong enough lead to bring this game back at this point, I think.
Indeed.
Yeah, Castle Age is coming up now for Cito. And that's going to be
And
two
when
players in the
Cito gets
Castle
up-
Age.
Yeah, when he gets up, he can easily add in just like one Siege Workshop and destroy that TC from Lix and basically defeat Lix. Lix does have like 4 villagers in the back of Yo's base, but that's about it.
Well, man, it seems like it worked so far. At the very least, it seems like it's working so far. My Insanity is going to let Rival Pass do their thing. They are going to come in prepared, and they are just going to absorb the push and basically, you know, prevent any damage from happening over there. Now Rival Pass is in a little bit of a pickle.
Yeah, and I think their the usage of the Gurjars there as the flank civ worked out very well for them.
Yeah, completely agree as well. Mana should be going down. Yeah. And, well, Castle Age is gonna be here in about only 1 minute for Cito. Gujaras and Hindustan.
And here's the problem.
Yeah?
Yeah, they're gonna get in on Lix's villagers in the back, so that's gonna put Lix even further behind.
Oh, that is true. Oh, wow. They took all the villages already?
They're standing under Yo's TC without space to garrison.
Alright. Should be able to come in over here. Yeah. Oh, it's open!
Well, even if it was closed, the archers were there.
Yeah.
I think those vills are gonna go down.
This is really good for my Insanity. Now Cito's there. Could be going for the crossman upgrade. He already has some archers out, so. He's got spearmen also. Although, yeah, crossbows and pikemen are not going to be the unit to take this game. Instead, he's going for a castle drop.
Yeah, right in the middle, right on Yo's TC, and that is a lot of vills. I don't see Yo stopping that anytime soon. And I think that's gonna secure the middle for my Insanity.
This is really good. Mysterio's got 0 stone and 0 villagers on stone, so the castle's coming out for my Cito. That TC is going down for Mysterio, and there is no coming back at the center over here for the green player, unless he's able to battle the castle down, or maybe he goes significantly farther away, which could still be risky because, you know, Cito could try and contest the center from this point onwards.
And now we have some chakram throwers coming out of that castle, so unique unit push. Going to add in some actual army here from Cito, and Yo, those villagers are going to run. I don't know where they're going to run to. There's even some camels coming from behind that'll spot them. He's going to stone. Maybe he wants to put up his own castle and just try to counter a castle drop.
Yeah, he's got 20 villagers over there, and it's still going to take a hot minute. And then he's going to need a good amount of military units to actually secure a castle foundation.
Yeah, Yo still does have the highest score, but I think that's only because he has those goats in his mill. He still hasn't really gotten any fish on the water. Oh, Lix was trying to build a dock, but Margugu has spotted that with a fire ship.
Yeah, there you go. It seems like Mr. Yu should be able to provide some defenses over here, though. I don't think we have too much navy left for my Insanity, so maybe Lix can come back, but, you know, drop in the bucket at this point.
Yeah, I don't know what Yo can do right now. He's trying to fight spearmen with camels.
Let's check. I'm pretty curious once the game's over to take a look at the stats and see who's collected the most food. Between the Gujaras players, of course. But at this point in time... Yeah?
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, in the long run, the goats in the mills aren't, like, the super great late game bonus. Like, someone like the Poles with their Folvarks, if the game goes for a long time, they will collect much more food. I think it's more this middle period where you basically have those extra villagers early on, where you can... Now, you don't need to put your vills on farms, you can get wood, and you don't need to add the farms necessarily. I think that's where the benefit lies. But as the game goes longer, I think that the advantage he had is going to decrease.
That is
especially
true.
If he is behind an eco.
For sure, for sure. Unlike the Folwark, the goats over here are not going to scale with time, right? I mean, because you're not going to increase any more goats than you already managed to secure at the beginning. It's going to be mostly about providing an opportunity to start snowballing from early on.
Right.
And that's what I was getting at as well. Mr. Yo, if you compare him to Sito, he's got north of 40 villagers working on food right now, while Sito's got 9.
And, well, Lix finally has managed to click up to the feudal age.
There we go.
On 22 villagers. Oh, look, he's just doing a 22 pop feudal age. Normal stuff.
Yeah. Just hide the timer. This engagement, though, was very one-sided in favor of Margugu. Ends up cleaning up all the units from Mr. Yo.
And a castle, another one from Sato. I'll clean up that TC and also the gold behind that TC that Yo had been trying to defend. Yo is also out of gold from the inside of his base almost. So after losing that castle goes up. I don't think that WWP will have access to any more gold.
Oh man, he's going for a count the castle over here. The timing, I'm not really sure if it's the best. Plus the camels are still here from Margugu. I think this might be the GG castle, man.
Yeah, the vills have to garrison as the camels come over. And I mean, I don't think there's anything else Yo could have done there. But the castle for Sato goes up.
That was super risky. He started working on it so much later. Oh boy. Yeah, they are not calling it right now, but before Lix gets to the feudal age, Margugu manages to click up to the imperial age.
Oh yeah, that's one player in the Dark Age while the other up to Imp. Probably not a good sign for your team. But
yeah.
Lix, he does actually have a few fishing ships out. He will be able to add something to his economy, but it will be a good 30 minutes or so before he can contribute if he's not harassed.
Yeah, weirdly enough, he's got the fishing ship, but now he's lower population than when he went up. I'm not really sure what happened over there. That's certainly not the right direction.
Yeah, and the armored elephant is out already for Sato, gonna start battering down that castle with it.
Yeah, and Sito's position at this point, I already want to see him start queuing up some cards.
And that's exactly what he's doing. He has one in the castle right now.
I think might have been safer for him to start going a little bit earlier. Now Mr. Yo is going for his own petards. At the very least though, HP is low enough on Mr. Yo's castle that I think it's going to require one less, maybe.
Yeah, and we see the elephant already for Sato getting into position a bit earlier than Yo's.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, here come the villagers.
Right. Well, that's going to be
Remember, villagers
handy.
villagers are good against buildings. Yo is going to use his elephant to try to take out Sato's elephant.
It's actually coming out on top over here.
Yeah, and actually, the way that Yo has his villagers surrounding that castle, that means the petards from Sato can't actually pathfind to Yo's castle. Oh, they can hop out over them, though. They have a spot. I thought they would have been blocked.
Oh man, this is so close. This is actually so close.
Oh, but the thing is, the castles are so close, he can have some vills repair in the middle, and he'll win.
This is really nice. Well played. So Mr. Yo doesn't end up taking that castle. Now that's going to be the first step towards a long way back into this game, if it's even possible at this point, especially as Margugu already got to the Imperial Age. I'm still liking my Insanity's chances better, of course, but that was pretty good from Mr. Yo still.
Yeah, Margugu putting up his own castle now, so he'll be able to get some trebs out. But Yo, most critically, still maintains control of that gold, as the main gold in his base, 50 left, that's about to run out. This will be his only source of gold income. If that castle gets pushed, he'll be pushed off of gold.
There we go.
And he's going to call it GG.
The GG's coming up indeed. Wow. Just wow. This is amazing to see, and it's what we were talking about earlier. My Insanity doesn't want to play, you know, their game necessarily. They want to let Wild of Past to come at them the same way Wild of Past always plays, and they are going to be ready. They showed it in game number 1, and that makes me kind of hesitant about Wild of Past's performance in their home maps, potentially. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. I think great usage of the Gurjaras as the flank to counter that Vill Rush and Douche from Lix. So, I mean, that does a few things. One, if you're building the mills, you're probably not going to be adding in the docks anyway, so you don't miss out too much on this map.
Yeah.
And two, you can fight with your villagers and still manage to click up with the feudal age, as we saw Sato do there. So, Great strategy choice there from My Insanity.
I'm taking a look at resources now, and Mr. Yo, as we would probably expect, he did manage to secure a lot more food from the goats compared to Sito. However, Margugu managed to collect more resources than Mr. Yo, full stop. So it seems like the water play over here early on helped Margugu quite a bit. And yeah, I think might have allowed him to keep up a little bit, to catch up. I'm not really sure where the rest
Yeah,
is coming from.
Looking at that graph, you see that like early on, Margugu did have a bit of a lead, then fell behind mid castle, and in the late game, I think he just had a bigger eco with more farms.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's it. That's pretty good. So, let me take a look at KD, and I want to take a look at the villager count afterwards as well. So for KD, it was the best for Mr. Yo and the Agwan.
Yeah, Lix, he did manage to kill 33 villagers by being only in the Dark Age, which is pretty impressive.
Oh, let's check. Yeah. That's pretty good, I would say. Wait, what? Hold on, what? Lix, from what I can see over here, he killed 6 eco units and he lost 46. Oh boy.
Yeah, Lix, that's the full Dark Age meta right there.
I was so confused over there for a second. For society, yeah, we can see over here, even if it's not for each player's skills, you can see each player's losses for villagers. Total villager count over here, trained versus total villager count at the end of the game. It's going to reveal a 35 villager loss for Mr. Yo. We had 46, I think, for Lix.
Yeah, he lost a lot of vills.
Yeah, that's what the stats said, I think, earlier. 46, right? So Sito ended up losing 10, and Margugu lost. Well, this is not even close. Margugu lost 8 plus 10, so that's 19 villagers lost throughout the game for My Insanity, and for Rival Pass, it was just a massacre.
For Margugu, was that just the fishing ships that he lost? Because I know he lost them, but did he not lose a single villager?
No, I think they are different. The villager from the fishing ship count.
Okay.
Yeah. We already saw Persians being used before by one of the teams, so it's not available to them anymore, but it's available to the other team, and I think it can be a very strong civilization for this map as well.
Yeah. If it goes late game, you have to think Byzantines are a good civ in this matchup, both being able to control the water and being a pretty good civ at fighting against the Goths. But early on, the Persians do get an eco bonus that the Byzantines do not get until they try to click up to the Imperial Age. So that 50 food and 50 wood for the Persians, if you're going to dock and do any type of vill fighting, will be very helpful.
Yeah, and once again over here, it seems to me like it's going to be a matter of surviving for Rival Palace and a matter of taking advantage of the early game for My Insanity. Pretty similar to what was said before as well.
Yeah, I mean, if Yo is able to boom with the Byzantines, they do have a lot of options in this matchup. They can go for that early Imp Arbalest pressure. They could go for some type of Halb hand cannon combination. And they can, in the late game with a big boom, go for a Cataphracts.
Oh yeah, please bring the Cataphracts. Of course, Mr. Yo is going to have the options over there. Not only does he have to manage to get to the late game, of course, Lix is gonna have to do a good job of buying Mr. Yo sometime, assuming that they are going to play like that, the same way that they played in the previous game. And I'm pretty excited, given that we already saw how My Insanity is gonna be able to potentially stop any early aggression coming out from Lix and potentially mitigate any disruption that Lix might have been able to get against any other team.
And I did see, I think it was Margugu and Anatov playing on this map once, where they did go for an aggressive vill fight and won a game. So they are very familiar with going for villagers in the middle on this map, and we already see Sato putting down a forward dock.
So for those wondering why gods might be chosen over here, militia party, yes. Gods are very common on... Well, I actually don't think I have seen gods too much on this map, but infantry civilizations are very common on this map, and we have seen Japanese before, we have seen Celts before. And if you have seen the Hidden Cup 4, I think it was, where the Kale push was popularized on Cup, was it?
Yeah, I think it's Cup, because Cup was that map where there were a lot of shallows near the fish, and you could use the drush to harass the fishing ships a bit. And we'll
Yeah.
see the same thing on this map. There is some layered terrain with the great fish marlin somehow jumping in and out of ice.
Yeah.
But ships and militia all can go over that terrain, and we see players will be following like Sacho and Yo are doing, building docks, adding in a couple fishing ships, and then we see the forward barracks now from Lix. He's thinking about getting out some militias to go and harass those fishing ships. Again, in the Dark Age, docks cannot make any military units, so you can't really defend the fishing ships until you get to feudal.
Yeah, exactly. There is no spot over here that's going to be purely water for the fishing ships to go and collect fish safely, so they're always going to be exposed. And now Lix is coming forward with some villagers to try and take advantage of that as well. Do we expect to see a dock over here for Lix so that he can drop the fish, maybe, or what is the plan?
Potentially. I think we see on the top Margugu also going for those militia. So I don't know if those players will dock. And yeah, we do see a dock there from Lix. I guess you can just kind of plop the dock down in a lot of spaces in this water. Normally
Yeah.
you need a beach. I don't know how this works exactly.
Okay, here come the militias. Lix is going to be the first to strike. He's already pushing the fishing ships away, so it was not a lot of work in time for Sito. Meanwhile, up north, the militias are coming over from Margu as well, and that's going to result in the same reaction from Mr. Yo as well. Although, it seems to me like Mr. Yo will end up losing the only fishing ship over there that he had in that spot.
Yeah, in the Dark Age, the fishing ships are faster than scouts, so they can run away. You just have to be very careful to micro them.
Yeah, exactly. In the end, Mr. Yo lost it. He's got only one fishing ship left over here. Sito's potential is higher if he does end up surviving this, but he does end up losing one over there, and the militias are starting to become a huge issue already for Sito.
Yeah, Margugu trying to send his militias down, but I think Lix is a bit more efficient in his build. He's already got 5, now 6 of them coming out, and Yo is up to feudal.
Man, why will pass they just love their chaos? These maps. What is this? This is... Oh man, this is extremely chaotic already for the first 2 games. At the very least, the first one was not particularly quick. I don't think this one's going to be necessarily super quick, but it's incredible to see. This is not the Age of Empires that I would expect to see at this stage already.
Well, Sato's going to be up to feudal, but he'll be a minute behind, and I wonder what ships they make when they get up. Do they go for fires, or do they go for galleys, or do they go for demos? Because a demo ship here in a big bill fight could be absolutely amazing.
I would love to see that. At this point in time, taking a look at Eco KD, it seems to be 1-1, so pretty close.
Yeah, I think Lix winning that fight, he had more militia, but the villagers from Sato will now clean that up, so both of them will lose all of their armies.
Yeah, that is true. Sito's going back to fish over here, which is great. Lix is not really bringing the villagers over. I think if he brought the villagers over, he might have been able to get the engagement over here, but now he almost lost everything.
And fire galleys for Mr. Yo, not going for the demos.
I'm kind of...
And Margu repairing one of his fishing ships.
Oh, or is that... Right. Well, it's, I guess, the safest choice if you're gonna try to contest water, but you gotta love a good battle wound, so I was kind of expecting that. Just, you know, the meme part of me.
Right. And part of me has to wonder if you're up first, you might consider doing galleys instead of fire galleys. I guess it depends on how quickly you think you can get that blacksmith up for fletching.
Yeah, how quickly you can get the blacksmith up, how quickly you can get a good amount of units. If you have like double docks, for instance, you can get to 5-6 galleys. Relatively quickly, that should be the better option. That's going to scale the better. That's going to scale the best, sorry. And yeah, Sito's going for a defensive tower. I'm fairly surprised that nobody's tried to go for a sneak push. Never mind. Check up north.
Yep, just as you say that, we have the vills from Margugu going forward. Now, neither of these teams are walled on land, so any type of land units will be able to run around and get into their bases. I guess maybe if you want to look at the maps, the golds for WWP are right in between both of their TCs, so actually fairly safe.
Oh man, on the right hand side, Mr. Yo had the demolition raft over there, and he was right next to the villagers, and he didn't detonate it. I think he was not paying attention there.
Oh yeah, I see him bringing his demo forward now. One thing is, Lix needs to be careful with those villages on the dock in case the demo comes out, but it looks like Sato has the advantage on the water for now.
Let's see, here comes the demo, yes. And good unit control. Good unit control for Sito.
Yeah, pretty disappointing demo, and nice use of the fishing ship there to absorb some of the fire from that fire galley. If it sits right between them, it'll absorb all of the fire, so good use there from Sato.
Yeah. Japanese can also be a pretty compelling civilization on this map because of the stronger fishing ships as well. Can also help quite a bit tanks and damage on the fire galley fights over there. But it's curious to see both players go for gods.
Yeah. Well, Japanese do have that, both the fishing bonus and the militia bonus.
Yeah, which is pretty good. So up north, Margot, as soon as he got to the village, he's already gotten an archer range up. He's going for a blacksmith, and it seems like he's just going to basically give up on water. It was mostly the militia push for him anyway, so it's going to be a transition to land push.
Yeah. And you see, Lix actually has a second dock all the way down at the bottom, so he can keep his villagers working and not be harassed as he's up to the feudal age as well.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good. Using the dock over here as a mill. Not something I was expecting to see in Age of Empires either, but we're here.
Well, Yo has spotted this forward from Margugu. He lost the scout, but he spotted the archers, and immediately he puts up a defensive tower on that wood line before the archers can do any damage. And no golds exposed. The archers have to walk a long way to get to them.
Let's check. Sito seems to be a little bit stronger on water right now. He's reacted masterfully to Mr. Yo's demolition rafts earlier. Mr. Yo got another one out, and Sito's unit control was very good, so it seems like he's going to end up getting water control.
Yeah, it still seems somewhat even, though, as, let's see, Lix has now some militia in the back of Sato's base trying to be annoying there, and he has a sneak villager and a sneak barracks at the south. So we'll probably see the men-at-arms upgrade and then something else crazy from him as he gets up to feudal.
Oh, and Margugu is going for some walls over here to try and get the tower up, and that tower is fantastic. Actually, it's going to push villagers away from one of the golds, and it's going to harass two wood lines.
Yeah, that will be a great tower. Yo did put his tower up first, so that gives Margugu the freedom to put his tower wherever he wants. But two golds right next to each other. Yo can just go to the opposite side and they can share a gold for a bit until they're able to clean the tower up.
Yeah, completely. Meanwhile, on the right-hand side, we have men-at-arms right now for Lix. He's added a few extra units to the militia he had originally forward, and he's going to try to get a tower up, which, if I'm not mistaken, Sito does not have vision of. Yeah,
and also, Sato had towered his dock earlier, so he's not going to be able to put up a counter tower.
Good push over here. He does end up. Yeah, he does end up pushing him out of wood. So Castle Age is on the way for Mr. Yo, and this is one part of the condition we were talking about for Wife of Palace. One condition being Lix being annoying by Mr. Yo sometime, and Mr. Yo managing to go up and try to play for, for economy and then potentially for military later on. However, in Lix going forward, he's actually allowed. I'm not really sure if I would say that he's allowed Margugu to come forward himself. I think it probably would have happened anyway, but Mr. Yo is far from uncontested in land. Yeah,
and now we have, what is that? 8 men-at-arms from Lix, and Sato is going to try to defend with archers. We got some skirmishers coming out. So both teams have a player forward on the other team's side. Margugu doing a great job of getting those archers underneath that tower from Lix. They've stood there for a while until finally Yo is getting some skirms out to try to clean them.
Let's see. Yeah, good job over here. How many archer ranges do we have for Mr. Sito? He's got one. And Lix got one over here as well, so it should be pretty even.
Yeah, and those men-at-arms skirms being very effective at pushing the army from Sato away, and Lix is going to continue. Now it's his turn to get up a tower on the other team's gold.
Yeah, that's a beautiful one as well. And he's got fletching already. That's not going to target 100% of the goal, but it's still going to be enough to push. I'm pretty sure to push Sito away from it, so it's still pretty good. Does Sito have any extra golds though?
There's one to the south behind what Lix is already towered, and he can go
Yeah.
to the east, but Lix is kind of controlling that too.
Yeah, you know, this is actually working a little bit better for Lix over here compared to for Magoo on the left-hand side, I would say. However, my Insanity, by getting water control, they are still significantly ahead in population overall. So, might not be the case for much longer.
Yeah. And we see now, even though there's a tower in the middle, Yo can go to that forward gold and get a TC up. The two archery ranges from Margugu in the back, not really able to deny that. Yo has some towers up in his base, so I think he should be safe from here on out.
Yeah, I think so. Castle Edge will be here very soon for Margugu as well, and from Lix and Sito, it doesn't seem like anyone's going to be able to go up particularly soon. However, Sito is significantly ahead, and he's going to make the difference between both teams for the most part because of all the water control, I think, that he's provided for my Insanity.
I do have to question though, if the other team decides to go back onto the water, how will Sato be able to hold it? He doesn't have gold right now, and he will soon to be out of a second wood line as another tower will go up for Lix.
Yeah, fair point. Not really sure, not gonna lie. What do
He
we
has
get?
3 docks, but he's not producing from them anymore, and I don't think he has resources to make many more ships.
Alright. Well, it seems like Lix should be able to go up to the Castle Age very soon himself as well, so everyone's going to be up, just my Insanity's being up a little bit sooner. Defensive tower coming up now for Sito as well.
And with the walls, I think he'll get that up. That is quite the panic tower from him, trying to secure one last wood line.
Oh man, it was open, you know? He could have come in with the Minotaurs, at the very least secure a few villagers over here. I think he can still try and do it.
It's risky to throw your army under a tower like that.
Yeah. I guess especially with the skirmishers over here, and given the amount of villages is quite significant as well.
Oh yes, the Toe did actually try to go down to that gold mine in the south, but now it looks like Lix has spotted that.
Let me check. Yeah, at the very least, he should see it now. Beautiful. And he's coming for another tower, of course he is.
This is Lix.
Well,
And he's playing as the Goths, the civ that's not supposed to have good defensive buildings. He's just throwing up towers.
yeah. You know, in the Dark Age, in the Field Age, it's going to work just fine. So, Sito's gotten to the Castle Age. He's been collecting stone quite heavily. If he used the market, does he even have a market? Let me check. He's got a market.
I think he does. Yeah.
He might be able to go for a castle over here very soon.
Yeah, so I think the real question comes down to now, has Lix done enough damage and been annoying enough that Yo will be able to carry the game? Byzantines, I think, are good civ for this map, and particularly in the civ matchup.
Well,
But Yo is also being harassed by Margugu.
yeah. The tower that Lix was going for ends up getting denied. Meanwhile, in the back, Mr. Yo has managed to get 3 TCs up. To be fair, that's pretty good. However, he's playing catch up right now. If you take a look at the military count and the villager count for Mr. Yo, it's not too good, and it's lower than for my Insanity. Plus, he's got to go into siege right now to clean all the aggression from Margugu, which means that he won't really be able to focus on just growth. And this is what I was saying earlier, the position for Mr. Yo is not really safe over here. He was far from uncontested, so it doesn't seem like the second condition over here is being met.
Yeah, and even some knights had gotten in under Lix's TC to annoy him. And all this time, Sato has still been on the water with his villagers, collecting from those fish, and even has a few fishing ships out. So he's been quite efficient with his food economy, much more so than Lix has been.
There we go, the knights are coming around from Margugu as well. Conversion coming up over here for Mr. Yo. All of these things though, once again, he's got to invest so much into defense. This is not what it was meant to be. It was meant to be Lix giving him the time and space that he needed to just, you know, get ahead uncontested.
Yeah, he has been getting, gets a mangonel with the knights, with a couple of those conversions. Now he can delete one of them.
Beautiful.
And he cleans up the tower, and he is managing to hold for now.
Yeah, he is. I expect Mr. Yo to be able to hold, just the problem that he's not really going to be able to focus on getting ahead. And as he's focusing on defense, and both players from My Insanity get to the castle age, we have the second and third TCs coming up for Cito, and we have the second TC already up for Margu, and the third TCs coming up for him as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a fourth TC even for Cito.
Oh, true. And Lix is still in...
just not clicking up.
Yeah, only now clicking up, so it's going to take a hot minute before he's even able to go for extra TCs himself. And My Insanity is looking great. They are ahead in economy, they are ahead in military, they have water control, or most of the water presence anyway. It's going to take a lot of grinding to come back in this one for Wild Palace.
Yeah, that it will. But Yo, getting a castle up on the coastline might be trying to think about getting some more docks and retaking the water. Yeah, as the Byzantines, I don't think Goths and Persians really have a shot at fighting a Byzantine navy if they can get the numbers out.
True. I guess maybe with a good amount of war galleys up until the Castle Age, Persians can remain somewhat competitive, but after we make a transition to the Imperial Age, it's going to be impossible.
Yeah, that's the thing. If Yo somehow can get Imp and get those early fast fires, he could secure the water. And if you secure the water on this map, I feel like that gives you time to get back into the game if Lix is still behind.
You can see right
bill count 160 to 114.
Yeah. It's pretty precarious position right now for Wild Palace, and you can clearly see right now a little bit of a trade-off from this castle. Going for the castle forward means that he might be able to contest water back, but it's not going to provide too much protection around his base anymore. And Margot actually just walks in with some villagers, goes for a siege workshop and a monastery. Like, there is nothing over here from Wild Palace to defend.
Yeah, only 9 military.
Yeah. Okay, that's good though. The knight spots the villagers, so at least the monastery is going to get the knight.
Yeah, that's important because you don't want the monks to convert the knights. As long as you have knights, you can defend against mangonels.
Can he get the monastery up? Nah, he shouldn't. Alright. So, well, he's prevented taking a lot of extra pressure, but it's still not going to alleviate the fact that they are so far behind. From this point, it's a position that Wild Palace is in where they're gonna be kind of relying on My Insanity to make some mistakes to come back, because if both teams play this out perfectly, My Insanity is just ahead in every single regard.
Yeah, pretty much. You do see Margu actually losing quite a few mangonels and monks on the front.
And on the back...
And as this pressure...
Yeah, Lix got a bunch of knights over here, actually taking a bunch of villages from Margu as well. So maybe these are the mistakes we were talking about.
Yeah, and those knights do have +2 defense. They can tank TC fire for a while. Let's see, only fletching for Margu. He doesn't have Botkin. And those knights are gonna get a lot of villagers here.
Yeah. Okay, that's actually pretty good. I'm selecting the knights right now, and I see 26 kills, and all of those are eco kills. And now taking on the villagers from Cito as well. This is huge. This is what they need. Take a look at the military count right now as well. Finally, something going for Wild Palace.
Yeah, and you know, trying to go for that monk rush as Goths against Byzantines, eventually Goths do have the defense. They can get Atonement and Redemption to stop it with monks.
Yeah.
Margugu had to add stables at home just to get knights out to defend this. He's lost a lot of bills and he's continuing to lose more.
And it doesn't seem like it's going to stop anytime soon. We even have the monk over there for Lix to defend the knights against camels. Beautiful. A little bit of a comeback over here for Wild Palace. We're even going to see Mr. Yo, I think, probably go out to the Imperial Age significantly faster compared to anybody else, taking advantage of that discount.
Yeah, and here we see those monks with Redemption going to start getting the conversions on these buildings, that archery range, that blacksmith. Or he decides not to and runs away.
Here we go.
Yeah, converting the siege workshop.
Beautiful.
And
I
with
think
those castles, there's the war galley upgrade.
Ah, that's good. Yeah, with 2 castles, should be able to provide enough protection on the shoreline over here. Well, it doesn't seem like it's going to be enough. Fire Galleys from Sito just chilling.
And remember, the Goths from Lix, they do get fully upgraded knights, and they do get those cheap pikemen. So he's still going to be annoying in the back of Sato's base doing some raiding. He'll get cleaned up by the camels, but that's a lot of camels he had to make.
Yeah, pretty heavy investment over here for my insanity, and Mysterio's finally getting the space that he needs to work with. He's going up to the Imperial Age. It doesn't seem like he is going to have a substantial lead though, as Sito should be able to click up to the Imperial Age very soon himself too.
Yeah, and this is going to come down to how important is the water control on this map, because if the Byzantines can get Imp and then get Fast Fire Ship, that is an absolutely huge power spike for them.
It is. It is. We even have the castles over here for Mysterio to go for the most popular upgrade in the game, Greek Fire. But
I always
yeah.
love seeing that Byzantine unique tech being used.
I saw it once, I think.
Well, we're going to see it again. And you can go for camels to defend these knights, and just shows off the flexibility of the Byzantines.
Yeah, for sure. Cheap camels. Right now we might have a little bit of stronger economy for Sito, but with the discount, Byzantines are still going to be a powerhouse.
Yeah. Like, I think Yo's position here is just fine. The question is, what is Lix going to do? He is still out of it, pretty much.
Let's see, there's a third castle coming out from Mr. Yo. This is huge, man. If you can go for, you know, cataphracts over here, then Margugu is going to be relevant, and then he's going to have to take care of Sito.
Yeah, and remember, cataphracts have enough bonus armor that they're not going to fear camels. They will win some fights against the camels.
Yeah. So, very much looking forward to it. 3 castles already, it's pretty decent. And he's got almost enough stone to go for a 4th castle, which is going to increase by 33% his production potential. So, that's a good amount of units to start producing from, or a good amount of buildings to start producing from.
And here, I see it. Here is the cataphract coming out. And if you look at that armor, it is 12 cavalry armor, and the camels right now have only 9 cavalry attack, so they won't actually take any bonus damage from the camels.
Wow, this is ridiculous, man. He's going for it. What? This is so good. I always love to see cataphracts in games. I have seen fantastic comebacks by cataphracts, and yeah, I actually cannot believe Mr. Yo managed to get to this position.
Yeah. And actually, the Redemption Monk trying to convert the dock forces Margugu to delete it. And now it's this Byzantine player. He will control the water. We see heavy camel even from him too. So against these camels from Sato, he's going to have options to counter them.
Yeah, for sure. This is beautiful. Mr. Yo is coming forward. He's got a heavy camel upgrade coming up. Play Barden Armor, which is going to affect the cataphracts as well. And he's not going for any more unique units as of this point. Seems like he's going to make a transition. But it's fine. They were able to clean up their own side of the map. They are going to get water control. They should be able to get water control back. And they are the only ones with still some presence on the right-hand side, I think.
Yeah, because Lix is still in the back. He is still running around with knights and pikemen. I don't know how much damage he can do, but he does have a few scorpions in that workshop. We see long swords from Margugu coming out. He is the Goth. He's going long swords to fight these pikemen. But Sato is going to lose even more villagers on that stone at the bottom, as the knights from Lix still are in the back, still managing to be annoying.
Yeah, absolutely. We should see Imperial Age coming out for Margugu very soon. With Goths, the Imperial Age is going to provide you with 10 extra population support, I guess, but it's going to take some time before he can take advantage of that. Meanwhile, I think it's going to be mostly, I guess, Mr. Yo and Sito right now, at the very least, until Margugu can get the ball rolling.
Yeah, I mean, Yo does have 130 vills, and, you know, as far behind as Lix is, he's only down by about 20 or so vills from Margugu, and he'll close that a bit as Margugu goes to Imp. So if he's able just to stay alive, keep his economy running, and eventually do something, he might be able to contribute. It's not like last game where he was completely out of it. He still is in a position where he has 2 TCs, he has a good number of villagers, he can keep going, and he should see these barracks from Sato on the west of his base, and he's going to castle them immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. In this position, compared to the previous game, Mr. Yo's got enough of a punching power to keep Lix alive until Lix becomes relevant, as opposed to You know, Lix being completely dead as you said, so it's good. It doesn't seem like Margugo's lead over here is going to be strong enough to offset for that.
Yeah, and again, no, Halbs, they are the best unit you can make against Cataphracts, but still not the greatest option. You can win cost effectively, but it's still going to be some very difficult fights for you, especially under a castle, as here come the Cataphracts.
How did Sito manage to get the barracks up over here, or were the barracks up already and Lix went for the castle?
I think he just took one of his villas made from his stone mine on the west and walked it across to sneak a couple barracks.
Right.
There wasn't any army here from Lix, so he couldn't stop the barracks, but he could build a castle.
Yeah, that's still a pretty good reaction. The castle is going to be quite strong, especially the Sito's infantry is not really the best.
And meanwhile, on the right, we have an aggressive push here from Yo. 2 siege workshops and some light cav running around Margugu's economy. And if you look at this, Margugu has lost so many vills, he actually has fewer vills than Lix does right now.
Wow. This game, I really thought it was beyond Wild Pass to come back over here, but ever since we saw the Knights right on the right-hand side and Margugu lose so much economy, I can't believe it, but Wild Pass have come back and now it's you know, it's up for grabs.
It just goes to show the strength of the Byzantines, and Yo playing them to perfection, using their fire ships, using their cheaper imp, and using their cataphracts. As here comes another cataphract raid, and these halbs that are there to try to clean up the siege workshops will probably be killed by the cataphracts.
Yeah.
Oh, banking even coming in for Yo. He's thinking about doing some slinging.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Oh god, that is not even close. The cataphracts completely destroy the halberdier. I think the numbers were a little bit higher for the red player even.
Yeah, they do. And now Sato's going to lose a Treb, and Trebs are expensive. TC for Margugu's going to go down. And Margugu, he's an imp, but he can't do anything with his imp.
I don't think he's gone for...
Cataphracts are elite.
Cataphracts are elite, yes, but I don't think he's gone for Logistica yet.
That is expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, once he gets that, there is no stopping these boys. There we go! It's going for it!
I was gonna say, Lix has managed to clean up some of Sato's attack on the west side, but yeah, Logistica is in.
Wow. I'm just losing my mind right now. I'm sorry, T-West. I know that I've been saying this for the last 5 minutes, but I can't believe Wild Pass are actually doing it. And you know, it's not that I'm biased in favoring Wild Palace. I just want to see a nice series, and I'm a sucker for good games and good comebacks over here, so you gotta love these games.
Well, we have some fully upgraded elite cataphracts now, still doing some raiding. That's a lot of halbs out for Sato trying to defend this, but more cataphracts are gonna come in.
This push is, you know, borderline unstoppable. Margugu basically got barrel through.
Did, and the Goths just need to rely on their numbers here. They don't have the best halbs, they're still missing their final armor upgrade. So they, with numbers, can clean up the cataphracts, but that's a forward castle for potentially forward cataphract production here from Yo.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, Margugu on 42 villagers wouldn't really be able to afford much of anything, even with a discount. And going for hand cannoneer over here, well, the cataphracts are going to clean up any infantry units, but I'm not really sure hand cannoneer are going to be enough to stop these.
Yeah, they do have a lot of attack, and they should actually be able to kill cataphracts if they get good numbers, but they won't be able to fight underneath that castle.
Yeah. So, there we go. More halberdier coming out right now for Sito. Sito's got the type of production that you're expecting Margugu to be on at this point, and it just goes to show how good of a position Wild Pass have managed to put themselves in, where My Insanity cannot take advantage of their civilization strengths.
Yeah, and we see Margugu down to 47 bills. Lix still on 100. Cataphracts will be cleaning up the fire ships. No demo here for Sato.
And on the left-hand side, Sito was going for the halberdier, just trying to push, right? His production was pretty strong. However, we have cataphracts over here for Mr. Yo Plus. I think we saw some Huskars come out from Lix earlier too, so that should help as well.
Yeah, Lix is able to help clean this up with his own units. Definitely need to clean up the barracks though. But I mean, maybe you want to leave them alive. Those Huskarls, I mean, those Halberdiers might just be costing Sator resources. They pop out but don't really kill anything. They just get cleaned up by the Cataphracts almost immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Lix being able to help in the late stages of the game, that's not something that I have seen in a while, but it's here now, and yeah, Mr. Yo is cleaning these up. The Halberdier are not really doing much against the Cataphracts at all, and the Hand Cannoneer do indeed end up pushing those units away. Yeah.
Oh, we're seeing some Goth Cav Archers from Margugu to try to fight the the Cataphracts.
Okay.
I don't know how that's gonna work out.
Yeah. Now Lix is going for Anarchy. Does he have any... I don't think he's got any barracks left forward, does he?
Well, Anarchy, but also going for Imp.
Oh, okay, that's good. See trams coming out now from Mr. Yo as well. Well, that's going to help mitigate, I guess, the Hand Cannoneer a little bit with some good unit control.
Yep, they're trying to wall the Cataphracts in. I think they might finally get the trap on them by that castle.
I think so, yeah. Let's open up north, though. Oh, no, it's close, actually.
It is close. They are trapped, but they're just gonna have to take a fight. And with the trample damage, if those Hand Cannoneers are massed up, they can kill them pretty easily.
Yeah, that's the problem.
The trap here might backfire.
Yeah, exactly. You want to take advantage of the choke point with ranged units, but against these units specifically, that's not really going to work. So they do end up getting cleaned up.
Yeah, and even more on the left, you gotta take out 2 trebuchets. As the Rams are pushing in. And this is looking great from the Byzantines. Yo and Lix have cleaned up Sato's barracks on the left-hand side, finally getting a siege ram over there. They'll have castles up along the coastline to prevent any further sneaks. And this is looking good for WWP.
What an unconventional game we have seen. Now Lix gets to the Imperial Age. Wouldn't be surprised if my Insanity called a GG at this point. But it seems like they're gonna keep on going.
Oh, we see guilds and elite Huskarl. But yeah, at this point, I don't know what they can do against Cataphracts. Byzantines in the late game, a civ that does very well against the Goths.
You know, Sito's been slinging Margugu a little bit, although he's not really in a position where he's floating resources particularly, so if an engagement takes place right now... Okay, never mind.
Oh, they're gonna call the GG?
Yeah,
Even the series at 1-1, and 326 halberdiers, not enough to stop 103 Cataphracts.
It's... Wow. It seems so. This is just an incredible game. Alright, let's take a look at the achievements. For military, I see that Mr. Yo managed to get a fantastic KD. He kinda needs to get a good KD given the units he was going for. But he did, so it's all good. And if you compare the two God players, Lix did significantly better this game compared to Margugu.
Yeah, and no, I think it goes back to what we talked about at the beginning. The Persians have that early game eco advantage, and My Insanity did a good job of getting an early lead, but it just wasn't enough for them to stop the Byzantines player from getting to their late game.
Yeah, it's incredible. You see, you take a look at the graph, and it's like military count so much higher for My Insanity for the vast majority of the game, and only towards the end as Mr. Yo hits the Imperial Age and starts going for Cataphracts that they starting to push back. It's an amazing game. For economy instead, Sito managed to get the most resources compared to anybody, but combined with Margugu's economy, they were behind compared to Wild Wolf Palace by quite a bit. And I'm not really sure. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, like if you are the Persians and the Goths, you need a big economy in order to get your units being produced. The Byzantines, Cataphracts are expensive, but all the other stuff they do, the fire ships, the monk defense, that's not as expensive as everything Margugu was trying to do in his push, going for knights and all that siege.
There we go. It's pretty good. You can see the curve over there as well. I'm not really sure how you got the capture set up. I got it with aggregate of total resources, and you can see that it was significantly better for My Insanity from fairly early into the game up until the late game. But yeah, it was pretty expensive for them. They struggled, and then eventually Wild Wolf Pass started coming back, of course. Perfect. So, the great thing about this, well, one of the great things about this map is that resources are never going to be truly exposed or truly safe because the way that the map is open, both, or quote unquote open, but it's accessible from both the front and the back, right? So for instance, you take a look at Cito's resource, he's got the main goal. On a standard arena, that'll be an incredible safe goal, but over here it's actually kind of close to the secondary goal that he's got outside. And then potentially, if we were to just hypothetically say Mr. Yo come forward with a castle from behind, he could potentially end up denying both those.
Yeah, and so I think we look at the civs here, both teams having pulls, but then we have a difference between Bohemians for Sito and Mongols for Yo. What do you think about those two civs? I know Bohemians, they used to be a great monk rushing civ when their monasteries were cheaper, but now they are the normal cost. The Forgotten Empires decided they were way too much of a circus civ and nerfed them a bit, but they still do have the Haufnitze in the late game.
Yeah. So I'm not too sure. I do find it very interesting that we have a pattern over here of one shared civilization and one different civilization per team in all 3 games. So
yeah, that is true.
Yeah, that goes to show some of the civilizations are going to be quite definitely preferring some of these maps by most everyone. So for the difference over here between Bohemians and Mongols, you know, I think I'll probably prefer Mongols. Because, yeah, with Bohemians not having the cheaper monastery anymore, not being able to go for their clown planes in the castle age, I think that's going to leave Mongols in a much better position in later stages. With Mangodai, with bonus against siege even, which could potentially even neutralize Huvnitsa.
Indeed. I think that the Bohemians are a civ that wants to be more aggressive, whereas the Mongols want to try to get to that Mangodai combination in this matchup.
Right. Let me debug something real quick. I don't know if somebody's getting bad quality on the stream, but it should be good. Yeah, on my end, everything seems to look fine. Full HD, yeah, just fine. Okay, so we're not going to get too much action over here early on. We can only speculate as to what we are going to get later, at the very least until the players start thinking of going up to the field age and whatnot. What we probably expect over here to see Poles go for a castle play, given that they do not really scale too well into the Imperial Age? Or do you think maybe we're going to see them try to make a play for later stages of the game?
Well, I just saw an X from Sito on Yo's walls, so that could be targeting a Trush, or it could be targeting a castle drop for the mid-game. I see villagers going forward for Anatov. Yeah. Oh, I guess we should mention Anatov has swapped in for Margugu, who had played the first 2 games.
Yeah, and he's coming forward. You said that they X Mr. Yo's walls?
Yep, they X'd the front of Mr. Yo's wall, so it looks like this will be the Poles going for a Trush on Mr. Yo.
Seems to be the case. It's going up already on 18 populations and 6 villagers forward. So they're gonna try and prevent Mr. Yo from getting away with a clean game over here, the same way that it's been the case before. Mr. Yo's gonna try to play for the later stages of the game, of course, especially with this civilization. So this is a good reaction from my insanity, I think.
And here's Lix forward with 4 villagers, and I wonder what he's going to do with them. He's just kind of walking to the middle of the map right now, along with Yo's scout.
What would you want to do, though? I think if you have these civilization combinations, you're probably going to be better off by playing this for the late game, and you're not going to be too worried about Bohemians when you have Mongols on your team, so I'm not really sure about Lix's choice over here.
Yeah, well, imagine if Lix had sent villagers just to defensive tower Yo's base.
Oh, that would have been that would have been interesting.
But it looks like he's going to go and try to trush Sito. So both of the more booming players will have to defend. And interestingly enough, the way this tower is placed on Yo's wall, he doesn't have a gold mine or butchers or trees or anything. He just needs to wall off the entire front of his base to stop the bills from getting in. And I don't think he's going to have time to do that.
Yeah, the wall over here is already going down to half HP, and we only see one house coming up from Mr. Yo. I think he should still be able to get to the castle, or tweak up to the castle age. He's just gotta do something on the left-hand side. I think he's probably waiting for gates. Oh, tower.
And Market Blacksmith will put a piece of stone wall down. He needs to get something in front of that tower, though.
He's going for it now. And this tower is coming up significantly faster compared to Anatop's for sure. Mysterious got more villagers and he started building earlier. So he might actually end up pushing Anatop away over here, I think.
Yeah, some nice walling from Yo, using those market and blacksmith buildings just to close that up.
That's actually really good reaction.
Bill.
Yeah. Doesn't that lose in a villager over here? Oh, and he's just short. He's just short of range over here to deny the tower. That's pretty good reaction from Anatop to move the villagers out.
Yeah, he needed fletching, but either a good or a bad thing for Yo. He managed to click up without Loom. If he can be greedy and not have to spend the gold on it, that's good for him. But we already saw him losing one build to a tower, and potentially could lose more if Anatop manages to break in somehow. But I think he has this secured.
I don't think he even needs to break in. If he can just weaken the tower from Mr. Yo enough to push the villagers out, that's going to be enough. Because he's got fletching, he actually encompasses the whole tower.
And meanwhile, Sato has managed to wall up with some houses and palisades on the left-hand side. Had to spend a stone on one tower of his own, but Lick's still trying to push through those walls.
Let's see. Yeah, pretty good reaction over here. It doesn't seem like Lix will be able to do too much. But to be fair, it doesn't seem like Anatop should be able to do too much over here as long as Mr. Yo plays his cards right. Even if we have the extra range for Anatop's tower, Mr. Yo can just cycle through villagers. He doesn't need to commit to the villagers he's got there.
Yeah, Yo did a great job of garrisoning villagers while the arrows were in the air from Anatop's tower. And we'll see him doing the same thing right there, dodging those shots.
Yeah, pretty good unit control. Now he's getting to the castle age already. So I think he should be able...
though.
Nah, that's the second one, I think.
Yeah, it's the second one down.
Third, actually. Wow. Interesting. Well, now that he's gotten to the castle age at the very least, he should be able to defend over here. He's gone for Loom right away, but he can try to... Yeah, with Loom that should be enough. I was going to say you can try to go for Siege, but going for Siege for a single tower when you already have a tower seems... Yeah, seems... I don't know. I don't like it. I think he should have tried to just take the tower down with his own tower.
Well, I think the point of the siege is that you don't want to leave the poles an opening for putting a castle on the front of your base.
Ah, that's a fair point too.
That's what tries to deny.
Yeah, that's a good point. We'll see if eventually Anatop manages to get to the castle age.
It looks like Sato lost the tower, but he is up as well, although a bit slower. And he is very heavy on stone, so he probably will be going for a castle of his own. And I wonder where he's going to be dropping it, whether it will be in his base, or if he'll try to go forward onto Yo and drop a castle underneath Anatop's towers.
That's a good point. He's got the resources. I guess if he wanted to go for a 4-1, he probably would have sent the villagers out already. He has a gate up north.
Yeah, and it's just going to be in his base, and Lix will spot that with an outpost, and he's going to try to tower the castle. Will Lix be able to get some villagers here? Sato is moving a few more over.
That's pretty good reaction for Lix. I think this guy should come up regardless. He might be able to get one villager, but good reaction from Sito. It doesn't seem like he's going to lose too much, if anything.
Yeah, he's not going to finish the tower. Sato had enough vills on the castle.
This push on the right-hand side ends up working so much better as well for Anatop. Mr. Yo's got nowhere near enough resource to go for a defensive castle himself, and so far he's taking losses. He couldn't even go for a second TC, and I mean, you're playing for economy with Mongols. You're playing for the latest stages. Mr. Yo is heavily affected by this push.
Yeah, and Sato now getting a second TC on his back gold. Now, by virtue of staying in the feudal age a bit longer than Yo did, Sato is able to add in that second TC earlier and also get up the defensive castle. So he is completely safe, whereas Yo still has to play repair the mangonel as he tries to take out these fully garrisoned towers.
Yeah, pretty curious. Anatop going up to the castle is so much faster compared to Lix as well. This should leave my Insanity in a little bit of a better spot once again. So, 2 TCs already for Sita, right? Anatop, you take a look at resources. He's going to be able to go for his own castle very soon. And it seems to me like he's probably gonna try to... Would you, if you're ahead like this, with my insanity get into the castle stage faster with both players, do you want to, if you're Poles, do you want to still go for the castle and try to make a play for Slakta Privileges Knights? Or would you prefer to see them just try to play for economy, given that they are already ahead?
I think you can do either, but part of me thinks if you're against the Mongols player, you don't want it going late game. You probably want to try to be as aggressive as you can against them.
Right.
At the same time, though, you don't want to be letting the other Pole player outboom you, because
Yeah.
in my experience, the Pole late game matchup just depends on how many Cavaliers do you have. Oh, but licks his archers over here as Anatov's trying to drop a castle.
Well, we have the defensive towers, right? So he should be able to take care of this, plus the Hussite wagons coming over.
Oh. That Hussite wagon should help here.
Yeah. So I think you're onto something over there for sure. And I agree. For all they know, Mr. Yo could be on more than one TC on the back. So I do like the aggression over here.
Oh, could that Mangonel get some vills? Oh, nope. Anatov's paying attention.
Yeah, good reaction.
And good job using the scout against the Hussite wagon, too. You know, even if they don't deny the castle, they'll delay it for a while.
Beautiful.
Wagon goes down to Mangonel.
He's just got to finish building like this.
Yeah, 2 Mangonels out. The castle still has a ways to go.
Oh man, you know, this really reminds me of the original Doubt Castle. It was kind of like this too.
Yeah, this... The watchtower is going to be cleaned up. There's low HP archers there with monks trying to convert them, but the vills are going down.
Wow.
There's 1 vill left. It's on 84%.
Oh,
1 villager left.
Oh! No villagers left
Here
anymore.
comes the ram for Yo.
Yeah. Well, this is pretty good. Anatop's going for the second PC on the back. I guess he could try and send some extra villagers over and try to get the castle up.
There's still a vill in the tower, but she's gonna run away.
Oh, okay, that's good. Oh, come
no,
on,
there she
man. Rip. Now
Doubt smiles indeed.
Now there's a counter castle coming out from Licks in front of Anatop's base.
Yeah, and Anatov is just going to be walling behind this. No Mangonel defense from him. And that was very well done by WWP to deny that castle.
Let's see. Fantastic. Imperial Age is coming up now for Licks as well, so we're going to see the first player with access to Cavalier now. His economy is not really strong enough for him to take advantage of Slakta privileges and Cavalier production once he gets to the Imperial Age, at the very least not in a substantial manner. So I think Anatop's going to be fine over here. And I think this might actually be more detrimental, honestly, for Wyvil Pass to have Licks try to go this aggro and with such a small economy.
Oh, we'll have to see how quickly he can get up, because he is going to have trebuchets out, and I don't think Anatov's going to be able to get Imp anytime soon.
Right.
Well, that castle will go down. The question is, how does he raid the eco when the castle goes down? Is it just a slow treb push, or will he have some type of knight unit to get into the eco? Because remember, the Imp isn't going to give you that extra +4 armor as the Poles. You only get +2. It will be kind of hard to get under TCs if Anatov does do the archer upgrades. Just really needs to worry about the trebs.
Yeah, and well, I'm not really sure what Lex's plan is going to be over here. I guess it's always possible to make a play for Obu instead.
Yeah, it's possible to do that too. But again,
Alright.
not really a raiding unit, as Anatov's adding in an extra TC in the back.
Yeah, that'll be kind of for a slow Obu plus bombard cannon kind of push instead. He will need a siege workshop though.
Looks like in the north, Sato had sent a villager forward to try to wall Yo in, but Yo spotted it with the Mangonels. And it's just rolling the Mangonels forward now.
So let's check. Yeah, on the left hand side. We have 4 DCs over here. Sito's gonna be chilling. It's going to take a lot of damage for Mr. Yo to to offset for Sito's incredible lead already. Take a look at the villager count.
Yes, Sito has, remember, while WWP was denying that castle, Sito is just booming. But we have Licks up to Imp. The Trebs are starting to be produced from that castle. He's got chemistry coming in even. So this could be for some forward bombard cannons to add into this push as well.
Yeah. Bombard cannons and in what?
Cannons and Trebs. I guess it's arena. See, the Bohemians don't really have good cavalry, so you're not worried about them coming to assist their player too quickly.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Really, it's gonna take some time for Sito to be here. And I guess we are going to see... Okay, it seems like he's gonna try and go for archery. How many archery ranges do we have for Sito?
Sito, it's gotta be for hand cannoneers. I don't really see...
Yeah.
I don't see any. I see one.
Yeah, hand cannoneers, gotta be that for sure.
Well, we see the Trebs are popping for Licks, and that castle's going to be dropping for Anatov.
Has he gotten chemistry yet?
Who?
Sito.
Licks has it. I didn't see if Sito.
I'm not really sure. I will need to select maybe the castle over here. Doesn't seem so. He's got only +1. He's going for Buccaneer. He's going for chemistry right now, so yeah, he was winning a little bit.
Yeah. That's what, here's my capture rate suggestion. If you click the university, you should see which technologies are researched or not in the university.
Oh yeah, I would definitely like to have some hotkey system by which you can bring up a panel for a specific villain that's going to tell you the stuff. Or
yeah,
maybe
cool
just
too.
like a tech tree or something that you can scroll through.
Yeah. Anyway, Anatov is going full wall, but Licks is going full clown. And there was 2 TCs and a third about to go down once those Trebs start targeting. And Anatov looks to be in a pretty rough spot here.
Once again, we're in a position where Mine Sanity, they are ahead in economy right now, but this time around, Wild Pass is significantly ahead in military, so the push is working. And you were right on point about Lix's push. It's been extremely effective over here. Now we finally see the Yobu that I was hoping for. But we have bombard cannons, we have trebuchets. It's going to be very, very hard to stop this push. And on top, all he's got to work with right now is just villages and walls.
And yeah, as my chat is saying, Anatov basically wasted 1,200 stone in 2 castles. One of them just got trebbed down and the other one didn't go up earlier.
Here come the bombard cannons as well, taking in the farms. There you go, you should be able
I guess
to...
another thing, if you're Anatov, you might lose that market. Right? Like, the market goes down and all of a sudden you can't buy and sell. So he's going up to Imp. Will that TC stand long enough to get him to Imp?
Where is he getting in from? The back one. Okay. It's kind of hard to tell. Both these CCs on the right-hand side to the bottom are kind of equidistant to the trebuchets, and it shouldn't take too long for the bombard cannons to get to the second one either. So I think it's kind of rough. I don't think he gets to the Imperial Age at all.
It depends on how Lix decides to push. Because Anatov has no army. There's no way he stops this. And Sato even only has 6 army.
Taking a look at the line of sight.
Yo actually has gotten the walls up.
Oh, beautiful. Taking a look at the line of sight, Lix realized about the TC, so he's going for it. He's going to take the TC down.
Oh, yeah, Anatov's desperately repairing it. That's his imp TC. He's trying to fight the cannons with Vills, but...
Yeah, we have even Trevs over here
does he
as well.
keep this up?
I don't think he can, right? You know, if you're on Lix's position, this gotta tell you something. Anatov's desperately trying to fight with villagers when he did not make a single, any effort to protect the first 2 TCs.
And there's the imp TC down. He moves it to another TC to the north. I mean, honestly, I don't know what he would have done with imp anyway.
Yeah, true. Now a lot of his economy is exposed. We have Sito bring our ballistas over here. Beautiful. It's going to provide some support, but now we even see some knights coming over from Lix, who is going for Cavalier as well. These are going to be pretty cheap, and yeah, should be good.
There. Arbalest, normally a good unit against the Poles in the late game, but you need to have a large enough number of them that you can take good fights against the Cavaliers.
Yeah. True. So the castles come up for Mr. EO up north. That's going to be the second castle, and he's gonna start making a play for Mangodai, as you expect to see. And he's going for all the upgrades, right? He's got husbandry, bracers coming up, even conscription. And there's a third castle coming out. It's gonna keep on collecting stone quite heavily with 19 stone miners, and it seems like this might be the beginning of something special for White Wolf Palace. However, my insanity, they managed to stay ahead in population. What do you think of the game situation right now?
Well, I think Anatov is almost completely out of it. It's gonna take a while for him to be able to contribute. He has what, about 96 vills. That's not what you need to spam Cavaliers with the pulls. You need more than that. And Lix is right there at 95 vills, and he hasn't taken any damage. He has his stables up, he has his Cavaliers out, and he has his upgrades, so he's pretty far ahead. 20 vil lead for Sato, but what's he gonna do with that right now?
Yeah, I agree. So Anatov gets to the Imperial Age, but as you said, even if the villager count seems kind of comparable at this point, you gotta keep in mind that Anatov's taking a lot of losses. So there's a lot of economy that he paid for that he ended up losing, while Lix has been unscratched for the most part, so it should be a little bit more efficient for him.
And Sato going to have that castle maybe denied, as the Cavaliers are there to clean the vills.
Yeah, plus we have the Mangodai as well joining in. Beautiful. Let's get in the night. There's a counter castle coming up for Mr. Yo now.
Yeah, only one vill. You need more than one vill building a castle. This isn't a deathmatch start.
This isn't. Oh god, which map was it? Was it Costa? No, it was Tenochtitlan, I think. The one villager to build a castle. That's a scary amount of Cavalier coming forward from Mr. Lix.
Yeah, but this second layer of wall that Anatov threw up actually will keep the Cavaliers out of his base for now. The question is, how does he keep that castle alive as two bombard cannons are going to start working away at it?
That's the Maria wall over there, for those familiar with that. Let's check. I think the bombard cannon over there do go down if he can just hard target these.
He gets one, and you get the second.
That is huge. He might end up losing the knights over here, but he's going to buy himself so much time.
Yeah, that's important, because we see he is now upgrading to Cavalier during forging, as Sato is doing Haufnitze. And this is where, Yo, at 124 vills, he has some Mangodai, but the Mongols take a long time to get rolling. This is where the Haufnitze might be able to start pushing these castles a bit. Arbalest to fend off the Mangodai, Haufnitze to fend off everything else.
Where are the Huvnitsa though? I don't see them.
The technology's coming in right now, and he has a few bombard cannons.
Yeah, I mean the bombard cannons currently. He's got one forward, and what is the other one?
He has one.
Oh,
that castle on the left, on the top left, had taken damage. The Mangodai just picked it off right there.
Right.
Oh, but here come the Cavalier. The castle goes up though in the middle.
Yeah, Cavalier once again, very strong for attacking, not the strongest for tanking much of anything because of the lack of, play bar than armor. So Sito's Arbalest over here going to be enough to push Alex's Cavalier away, which is something you don't usually see. It's not a dynamic you usually see, but it's the way it is for Poles.
And Yo deletes his walls. He's sending in his drill Ferrari rams as siege engineers is being researched to go for that forward castle.
There we go. The rams go forward. We have a Mangodai over here. That's a fantastic. This is really good production as well. He's got more coming out. He's got 6 to 7 one on the way. He takes the castle down over there. It's not going to take too long for the castle to go down. It seems to me like he should be able to get the next one down as well. But that's a beautiful choke point for Sito.
It is. Great job with the quick wall there to protect the Arbalest from the Cavaliers, but there are just too many Cavaliers. And here come the Rams on the castle. There are 2 Haufnitze there, though. Can they stay alive with the Mangodai, though? No Arbs left to kill the Mangodai.
Yeah, the Mangodai over here certainly make a huge difference. There we go. It does go down, so what do we have over here? We have some great momentum for Rival Palace, and you take a look at military count, they are starting to close the gap a little bit. There's some trend for sure.
Yeah, Sato does have the biggest army, I think, still, but the army he has is not Mangadai.
Yeah, exactly. All in all, if it comes down to 800 population, 200 for each player, it's going to be absolutely better for Mr. Yo. At this point, he's still kind of struggling at only 160 something population. But it's not any lower than Sito's, actually.
And actually, Anatov, if you look at his Vil count, he kept booming. He was at 140. Sniping those bombard cannons, keeping that castle alive helped. And he is spamming Cavalier, and actually is managing to match or even defeat Lix at this point, as Lix had been on the top trying to help against Sato.
Yeah, true. It's got at this point 13 extra villagers. And taking a look at the villager distribution as well, Lix got 55 right now on food. We take a look at Sito. Sito's, Anatop, and Anatop's on 56. Very, very close. We do have a little bit of a lead over here though for Anatop just with current numbers. So Lix gotta wait and be patient until he manages to match the numbers as well.
And Mangadai should be pretty effective against the Cavaliers when they don't have that +4. Yeah, Sato can't really add in... No, he's adding in skirmishers. Those are not going to help against the Cavaliers.
Yeah, for sure. Certainly not going to make too much of a difference when Mr. Yo brings the Rams forward as well. He's going for another train of Rams over here. Beautiful.
That's a lot of Cavaliers there from Anatov, but Sato really doesn't have much army.
Yeah, he's bringing the Arbalesters over. Interestingly enough, he's gotten to 190 population, and it seems like he's going to be pop capped very, very soon, but he's got pretty inefficient units over here, at the very least pop inefficient units. Meanwhile, we have Cavalier and Mangadai for Lix and Mr. Yo, which should win this fight 9 times out of 10.
Absolutely, that Halberdier is not really what you want to be making against Mangadai. And this is one of the weaknesses of the Bohemians. They don't have a great gold unit to add in for these late Imperial fights, especially with the Halflings that can't be used due to the Mangadai.
It's been a pretty interesting game so far. It seems like the engagement over here should end up going in favor of Rival Palace, and they are doing a really good job with unit control over here. They do end up getting pushed away for the time being. They should be able to come out on top.
I think Anatov just consistently has a few more Cavaliers than Lix does, and they need the Mangadai to help even those numbers out.
Yeah, the Mangadai over here is certainly going to make all the difference in the world. So the game's been kind of all over the place. I was not really expecting Rival Palace to be aggressive against the civilizations they had, but they were. And in the end, we have seen moments where Maya Sanity were looking stronger, moments where Rival Palace was looking stronger, and we have gotten to the late stages where Rival Palace's civilization composition is better. So Maya Sanity, unfortunately, were not able to do enough damage over here to prevent Rival Palace from getting to this borderline unstoppable army.
Yeah, and well, great job from Anatov still rebooming after he had taken all that damage. But when Sato had to come over and help him with some Arbalest, that kind of ruined the early imp momentum that he wanted to have.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, Lix is missing Blast Furnace. That explains things a little bit too.
That explains why they lost the fights.
Yeah.
And it looks like he hasn't noticed that. That could be big. As if we look at the bottom of the map, looks like Lix is going for some type of forward in the south. But I think the important part of that is it's going to block the corner and so that the MYI cannot build markets. Whereas at the top, we see Yo, 4 markets in the north, Lix adding in markets in the east, and they're going to start trading.
Yeah, this is beautiful. They are the only team right now that managed to secure a full side of the map. So that's great. And while Lix's forward push might have gotten spotted over here, it does seem like Anatop should be able to keep out with both fronts, right? On the left and right hand side. On the left, he's getting cleaned up. by the Mangler over here, and the Cavalier coming over from Lix once again. So even if he's able to push Lix back down the south, that's only going to be protecting his economy. He's not going to do anything forward, right?
Yeah, and I mean, Lix just needs to hold that that spot in the corner for a bit. As long as he's there, it's delaying the trade. Even if he does get cleaned up, his team will get the trade set up so much earlier. And Zato is struggling at the front of his base now.
See? Here come the units. We have the Cavalier tanking some damage. Definitely would have preferred to see the ramp coming forward instead.
Yeah, and I think that castle, the rams are going to get right on it. There are 4 or 5 siege rams there.
Yeah, there we go.
And Mangudai just trying to sit in that murder holes range.
Hey! Lix realized he's going for Blast Furnace. You got it, man. Well, from this point onwards, technically, there is nothing that My Insanity should be able to do to prevent Rival Pass from taking this, I think.
Yeah, I think Sato is just going to collapse here. And even in the back of his base, Lix is getting those Cavaliers into the eco. Anatov has to spend population chasing them, but when he does that, he can't be fighting on the front anymore. And it's still a large mass of Mangudai, still 30 of them from Yo guarding these rams.
Beautiful.
Look there, the trade carts are coming in. They're starting to do their trading.
By the way,
very good for WWP.
Yeah, there we go. GG's coming up, so it's going to be 2-1 in favor of Rival Pass, but by the way of the series being equal up until game number 3, we have a 5-game set basically guaranteed. This is really interesting to see because Rival Pass were playing game number 3 on My Insanity's home map, so I'm kind of curious now. For game number 4, we are going to have only one map available for My Insanity.
Yeah, and it's a very water-based map, but let's maybe take a look at these stats here first.
Yeah.
I think look at Yo's Mongol KD, 421 to 125.
Gee.
That is insane. And also 51 buildings killed with those drill siege rams.
Incredible.
Let me see.
The raisins, rage is nothing that I usually take a look at often, but this is certainly something for Mr. Yetru.
And then in the economy, you can see the Poles. Look at all that food they have, but Yo just out-economied Sato in the end, and yeah, you have to imagine that's a very different game if Anatov gets that forward castle up, but great job by Yo and Lix just to deny it in the nick of time.
Yeah, true. And also total resources collected, we're higher for Rival Pass, but only by about, what is it, 6 plus 3 by 9,000. I'm taking a look at the distribution of resource collected throughout the game, and towards the end of the game was like 52%, I would say, for Rival Pass compared to 48% for My Insanity. So economy was not like super strong for Rival Pass. It was mostly, I think, a matter of My Insanity struggling to take the game in early stages, while of course with the civilization composition, Rival Pass were in a much better position in the later stages.
Yeah, you see Sato had a much better eco even right after he went to Imp, but he wasn't able to get the push that he wanted to with it.
Absolutely. So good stuff.
These games have been really great so far.
Yeah. And this is certainly what I'm hoping, of course, for the grand final. And I'm hoping for a full series. Not gonna lie. I don't know if it's going to be possible, but we'll see.
And well, Vikings and Aztecs against Burgundians and Dravidians. Well, we're breaking the trend of one civ is mirrored.
Yeah.
And I think I just want to take a moment to appreciate the architecture on these fortified towers and how they blend in so differently than the Dark Age TCs. We have this Viking one here for Yo. I love the orange roof of this tower. And then the Aztecs have a very interesting one with their little staircase going up the front of it.
Yeah,
Dravidians have a new architecture for them, and then the very classic Burgundians tower here from Sato.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the unique feature about this map is anytime they build a TC, they will have one of those fortified towers with 13 range being built right in the middle of it.
Yes, there we go. So you can see that the range over here circle as well with capture agent. It's pretty good. Every TC is going to have it, which is going to give you something to play out of if you eventually do end up making a play for one of the outer islands, but you end up getting pushed away in water, for instance, or you have not gone for water at all, and you end up going for the outer TC. You could potentially use that to defend docks and try to contest water at a later point.
Yep. And the players also do start with a transport ship on this map, so they can get out to those outside islands quite easily.
Yeah.
There's no land connection, but the outside ones are a ring connected by those shallows, which I have to say are pretty beautifully made with the terrain layering and the sea rocks placed inside of them.
This one is made by the Mad Cather, and I just gotta hand it to him. And when we were taking a look at the maps, and you know, big part of the map pool was defined by the Mad Cather and Huevo Coyotl, and they were saying, okay, so we need something that's a little bit more, you know, a little bit more different for Oceania. And Mad Cather was like, hold my beer. He came back 2 hours later with this, and I was like, what? That was so good. And it's really well made. You wouldn't imagine.
Yeah, so Yo has a forward villager trying to lame that rhino there from Sato. The fortified tower almost prevented it, but it looks like the rhino probably will be taken out. Or is it following... This is where Sato could probably try to shoot the rhino with one of his vills and see if he can get it aggroed, but it's still trying to get inside the palisades there. And Yo's going to get the lame done. And you know what Yo can do? As soon as the rhino goes down, he can put his vill on the transport ship and escape.
That's true. That's true. He's got that hand already, so that's pretty good. And it seems like Mr. Yo's done a really good job over here of keeping the rhino targeting his own villager. But like right now, when it gets the aggro, Sito's not taking advantage of it. So as you clearly point out, he gets the rhino and he bails from here, and that's already some good damage done.
Yeah, so that was a good job from him noticing just the rhino was outside of the fortified tower. If you don't have line of sight of the fortified tower, I don't think you see the range on the in-game mod, correct?
No, I don't think so.
So he probably wasn't aware of it.
Yeah. That's pretty good though.
Oh,
still.
I like this too. He doesn't run the Vill all the way away. He pops her right back out on the coast, and he gets a forward wall up.
Oh, over here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's good. For all that Citos know, the villager is gone, so it doesn't matter if it pops it 2 meters back or 100 meters, right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. Meanwhile, at the center, Margou's trying to get the walls up over here as Lix was trying to secure the center for his team. Margou realized and doesn't end up pushing him away, which is pretty good.
Yeah, but at the same time, see, Sato has a Vill in the middle, and Lix has gotten these walls up. And actually, this team is about to be walled in completely away from the center. If there's just that one spot where they're fighting over the walls now, Sato is sending a lot of villagers forward, and this is almost a game of Black Forest now as they're Vill fighting to try to get a wall up in that choke point.
Oh man, that's one village going down for Margou, and this is the 3rd out of 4 games where we see so much villager aggression early on.
Well, that's how Lix likes to play the game.
Yeah, there we go. He's done a pretty good job.
There's this serene scene of the relics on the hill with that nice little shrine in the middle just going to be broken up by the bloodshed of this villager fight.
There you are. Lix ends up pushing Sito and Margou away. He's got the hill advantage right now as well, so this is pretty good. However, we see extra villagers coming in. What?
Coming in.
How many villagers do we have at the center? We have 16 plus 8, so we have 24 villagers at the center already. Gee.
Yo isn't really partaking in any of this. He's just sending his Vill to wall.
As he does, right? It's just going to be Lix the punching bag over here. He's drawing attention from both players.
Oh, Lix is sending more.
Oh god. Oh god. Come on, man. What a great set. And these maps have not always been played like this, but this is just a team where you don't expect to see normal gameplay.
Yeah, and meanwhile we have Yo and Sato both going up, but Sato going up after having used these Vills. Oh, and look at that. Lix had managed to get the wall up behind the other Vills.
Oh, beautiful.
So they can't run away and they can't send more reinforcements.
Yeah. So this is really good. Lix can just commit as hard, as heavily as he wants, and as long as he ends up getting a better trade over here, it's still gonna be worth it.
Yeah, and I think he might get the better trade here. Sato is up, and now Sato has to invest into a tower to get past those walls and try to keep his vills safe. Because Lix, he's just pumping more vills to the middle. He wants to kill everything in here.
He wants to, and he kind of needs to. I'm taking a look at Eco KD, and actually he's taken a lot of losses, and he's struggled to get many villagers himself. So it's kind of rough right now.
Yep. That's true, but I think the other teams have a lot more idle time. He's just going to double up these walls with some houses. That tower will go up, though, and that should save the rest of the vills.
It does. Yeah, it does, and there we go. They should be able to bring the villagers back out once again. Meanwhile, on water, Margugu was the only player to get to the FLH and to get to galleys. Now Mysterio is going for galleys, but Margugu already had pushed them away. And if you take a look, we have no fishing ships for Wild Pass for Lix. And Mysterio's got a few still, but only now going for galleys.
Yeah, he does have 3 dock galley production, and he will be killing Sato's fish, likely. Oh no, Sato manages to get out 1 defensive fire ship.
Let's check.
And Sato will be losing fish, though. Ooh, doesn't get that one.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Got a second maneuver from Margugu as well, so it seems to me like Mysterio should not getting cleaned up.
And more vills fighting in the middle, as Lix is still trapped in the Dark Age.
Oh man, there's just so much happening everywhere. Oh, Lix is forward though.
Sending even more vills.
Yeah, I don't know about this. It's a better Eco KD right now for Lix compared to what it was before, so at the very least the trades have not been very uneven. But I think he needs to do a little bit better over here. He's been struggling.
Yeah, and he needs to find some way to avoid being trapped in the Dark Age. He only has 38 food, and I don't see him clicking up anytime soon.
Yeah, exactly. The only reason Wild Pass right now is ahead, or at the very least a big part of it, it's most likely Lix being 1 HP low as well.
Oh, here comes Margugu putting up a tower. That's one thing you can't do in the Dark Age.
That's correct. And this tower is not really going to push villagers away from wood, but it's going to give him so much control around the center as well. So Lix will only be able to fight on the left-hand side.
And if you noticed earlier, Sato did wheelbarrows, so his villagers will now move faster as part of this vill fight.
Let's check. Looking a little bit better for Lix in terms of numbers. They are not really engaging right now. Oh, but this tower is huge. If Margugu gets this tower, not only does he push Lix away, but also he kind of ends up securing the center for the most part. I think Lix wouldn't be able to bail from here without taking damage from the tower.
Right. And he's gonna get the stone walls up, so
Oh,
Yo,
God.
if Lix has to flee, Yo has to delete that house.
Yeah.
That actually doesn't open up Yo because this forest is complete, I think. Maybe there's one hole. Oh no, there's a 1 hole gap there that Vills can run through.
I think so, yes. So, yeah, Margugu's coming over. He's going for another tower! Oh boy!
Lix is just gonna lose all of these Vills. Now that has been a lot of idle time for Margugu and Sato. And Sato has lost his fish, and Yo does have the water control. And as the Vikings, he's probably not going to relinquish that water, but now it is the center control and potentially 8 relics for my insanity.
Man, this is just the ultimate Wild Pass game, isn't it? Lix right now, he's kind of dead. He's in Dark Age, he's got the lowest population. Meanwhile, Mr. Yo is significantly ahead. He's gonna be the first player to get to the Castle Age.
Yeah. Question is, what's he gonna do when he gets there?
Well, he's playing Vikings right now, so it's gotta be, I guess, just full Navy and then try to secure the extra islands and try to prevent my insanity from coming out, because you don't really start with too many resources early on, so that's not going to get you, you know, very long into the game.
Yeah, and I mean, with the Vikings, you do have your early Imp Arbalest push, but after that, they tend to fall off a bit.
Yeah, I think
I don't know how Berserks fare against Dravidians.
Dravidians get the Urumi Swordsman, right?
Yep, and they get the Woot Steel.
Right. What did that do again?
That was the... That wasn't extra armor. Or was it?
Okay.
So I'll have to check that.
Right.
Well, the monument doesn't give resources on this map. No, it's just that's just there for show.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, anyway, he would need to get a castle up, right? Ignore armor. Okay, thank you.
Ignores armor. Yes, it's like the Lithuanians thing. Kind of.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So that'd be good. Yes, but he will need to get a castle up, and it doesn't seem like... Well, I mean, it seems actually like he's gonna be able to click out to the castle. It's just a mystery is gonna be up so much faster. Yeah, and it seems like we're going to see a castle come up for Mr. Yo. Take a look at resources.
Yeah. Well, here's a question. How do fortified towers do in fights against watchtowers? They do outrange them, but if you put a few vills inside and garrison them, can you just build some TCs and use your boom to clean up these forward towers?
Oh, right. I think you should. Yeah, because attack is the same as a tower, so you should be able to outrange it. You can just go for the extra thesis. Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah. And with that range, it would prevent a castle from being dropped on you too. But now it's Yo's turn to be walled in as Sato's going for some stone walls, even stonewalling a pocket that didn't need to be walled there.
All right. We see the TC coming up for Mr. Yo on the left-hand side, so it doesn't seem like he's gonna go for extra TCs at the center, but because it's been collecting stone quite heavily once again, he should be able to go for a castle very soon, so he's not going to need the fortified towers. And like one castle, if he deletes the house that he's got in front of all the towers from Sito, and he places the castle over there, I think he should be able to clean everything up.
Right there? Yeah, that's true. They did put a good 4 towers all in one spot, and that might have been a bit of an overcommitment from Sato.
Yeah, it's not really achieving much right now.
Yeah, they are on that gold, but Yo has access to gold on the outside. And if we see that new TC with the beautiful tower inside of it, now in the castle age, the architecture matches up better.
Yeah. Okay, there we go.
And there's the castle.
Yeah, it's not where I suggested, but it's still going to be enough to free the golds, I think. I think so.
Yeah, indeed, and that's what he wants with it.
He's gonna need to get blocking arrow to target the third tower. Is this tower targeting the gold? Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's going to be enough.
Yeah. Now Margugu is up, he has a monastery, he wants to collect those relics in the middle. Zato is just putting more watchtowers in the middle. I feel like that's in some ways a waste of stone. Like at some point you want to get castle and TC the middle because you'll get better towers for less stone.
Yeah, for sure. Imagine he just left one of these towers forward instead of going for 3, and then he would have saved already 250 plus the 2 extra towers that he's going for over there. That's going to be 250. That's 500 stone he could have utilized to go for a castle once he got out to the castle age instead. But I guess it's just trying to be annoying, and that's what he's got access to in the fuel age.
I don't really know what he's doing though. Like, why 3 towers right there? You're
Why
not
not?
pressuring anything from Yo.
I have no idea, man. That is not going to protect the monks. That is not going to do anything with the relics. I literally have no idea. Does he want to go for a tower wall?
It looks like what he's doing. Yeah, look at all these fish that Yo has on the outside. And there's a lot of fish on these maps, and as you move about the islands, you can keep adding in new docks to keep the fishing ships working efficiently.
Yeah. A very important part of the map as well is the distinction between the inner and the outer rings of water, because the inner ring of water is going to have only shore fish, and then the outer ring is going to have the deep fish. So going for the neutral islands and going for the docks over there is going to make the fishing so much better as well in general.
Yeah, that's true, and still the other team does not have any fish, and we have longboats now coming out for Yo, so he does have control of the water. So it looks like we might have Yo on the outside. Ooh, he has so many fishing ships that he's up to Imp already. He's 90 seconds away.
This is huge, man. He's going for a siege workshop right now, so we could expect to see Capram, Siege Ram maybe. And he's got the War Galley upgrade coming up, so very soon, once he gets to the Imperial Age, he can go for Galleon. He's going to have cheaper Navy units that will prevent my insanity from contesting water, and without water, as we already discussed, you do not really have too many options over here because the resources you start with are so limited.
Indeed, and we have Lix already has a bill on the outside, is adding in those docks to get to the big deep sea fish. So he will have some efficient fishing ships too, as he is up to the castle age. And actually, he has a higher villager count than Margugu does.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty good. Going up faster also means that he might be able to go for extra TCs earlier, and he could potentially even surpass Sito. Right now, my Insanity both players are in a pretty rough position. Marguga's going up to the Imperial Age with 30 villagers.
Oh boy. Well, Sato's looking up to castle. Margu had gone for that Mangonel, but again, I don't think the Mangonel push will do much with that fortified tower on Lix's TC.
Yeah, there we go. Well,
there's a box formation protecting a transport ship from Yo. Look at that.
And he's landing. He's going for the castle.
And there's a castle.
That's great. Well, you know, this is a position you want to go for 3 towers at the same time.
It is, and this is a position where the fortified tower actually is just barely hitting those villagers. They just have a sliver of coastline they can hide on to get it up. Yeah, here's where you could do 1 tower and defend it.
Yeah. I'm taking a look at Mr. Yo's point of view, and he knew about TC at the tower already, so I'm pretty sure he's aware of the range of the tower, and he's managed to take advantage of it. However, he did not account for the upgrades, and now Sito's research fletching, which is going to cover more ground over here, and I think he might actually be able to deny this.
He needs to garrison that watchtower he just built, instead of running away from it and then target the builds.
He needs to target
the
villagers,
watchtower wasn't far enough forward. He can't target them.
Yeah, the watchtower isn't.
Oh, another transport landing.
That's huge. The fortified tower was certainly ranging the villages, but he was not targeting them. I think he was targeting the longboats.
And well, this looks pretty over at this point. I think Yo is in a very dominant position. Lix did a good enough job of the Vil fights to put Yo in the lead.
Yeah, and it was remarkable because he didn't really take the best engagements, but he was able to draw attention from both players, which allowed Mr. Yo to just get ahead, you know, single-handedly get the highest villager count right now compared to the other team combined, for instance.
Right. Cannon galleons? Oh, we do see some cannon galleons. Cannon galleons actually, same range. Oh, actually, the fortified tower outranges the cannon galleons, or at least it should.
The base one, yes. When you get siege engineering, it's going to be 13 for both, but it's still going to be enough to range it, so they just straight, which is not good for the bombard cannon.
Or no, the cannon galleon actually it needs elite cannon galleon for 15 range. Siege engineers does not
you're
actually
talking about
affect
cannon galleon. My bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind. Yeah, it's the same. It's 13, and then 15 with elite.
Well, Sato is now on 2 TCs and 2 towers as he has had to run towards his teammate to rebuild his base. How many relics? There are 8 relics that are in Margugu's monastery, and he's trying to trap down Yo's castle. He does have a hill advantage, but he doesn't really have any army as Yo is starting to add in some arbalests.
Seems like Marguga's gonna try and contest water. He's gone for war galley, he's gone for careening. There is no way 30 villagers will be enough for you to contest land and water at the same time.
Yeah, Yo has more vills than the rest of the team combined, and Lix actually has more vills than both of them individually.
Yeah. He's going up to the Imperial Age as well, so it's going to be both players from Wild Pass and a stronger economy and in the Imperial Age. Well, boy. Onagers. How is Marguga affording these things? He's going for Onager now.
He's been using the market. He's buying food with all that gold he has for the relics. He's bought 100 food for 211 gold, so it's getting very expensive for him.
Yeah, I'm pretty curious what the relic goal is going to be at the end of the game.
Oh, we see a forward, there we go. Now we see the forward TC from Sato. He'll be towering the gold by building that.
Beautiful.
And Lix is up to Imp.
Yeah. So now he's going for the War Galley upgrade himself as well. If it wasn't enough with Mr. Yo's versus Water, which, spoiler alert, it was. Now Lix is going to be joining the ranks as well in Water. So we have our ballisters for Mr. Yo. This is a very good push from My Insanity, but I just don't see this. I don't see My Insanity sustaining it.
Will this town center even go up though now that the Onager's down and the Arbs are still there? The Trebs are trying to get some shots.
Yeah, when you're defending with skirmishes, right, as your only army, you know it's not good. It seems like a TC comes up though.
It does go up as well as the tower.
Alright, yeah, the tower's good. It's going to prevent Mr. Yo from collecting resources over there. But once again, Mr. Yo already has a second TC outside. He's already collecting gold from outside. And he even has some gold miners up north in the northwest island. So it doesn't seem like my Insanity can realistically do enough damage over here to offset for Wild Palace's position right now.
Lix will lose a castle. I mean, Arbalests are not very good at taking out Trebs. They do 1 damage per arrow.
Yeah.
When they're unpacked.
So, why are they still...
Fortified tower actually killing Arbs.
Oh, true. The Onager shot over there was pretty good as well. So why are they still playing? They are still playing because they have some momentum over here. After, if you're in Margugo's position, you already took down a castle from Mr. Yo, you're taking down a castle from Lix. It's gotta feel like you have a chance, right? But when you have access to all the information we do, it's quite obvious that in reality there's nothing they can do.
Yeah, I mean, their hope would have been that Yo's score was mostly just from winning Warder, and that Lix somehow was still on 1 TC after that Bill fight, but they're not going to have the scouting of the outside of the map, you know, that's not the case.
You know, man, the latest changes for projectiles actually left me wishing for some better mounted shots. Right now, we saw, for instance, Margugo. He landed a beautiful, beautiful shot against Mr. Yo, but it was uphill. If it weren't because of the update, I'm pretty sure he would have deleted the Onager and cleaned all the Arbalesters. That would have been so
sick. If only he had deleted it and gotten that extra blast radius too, and not got the kill penalty.
Yeah, yeah.
Even on the villagers there.
So
well, I think it's pretty bad for my Insanity when they're down to 34 vills against 165.
What is he still doing on the left-hand side? Why is he trying to dodge the arrows? He's on 18 population. It's time to call the GG. I'm wondering if anything happened over here. Nobody said anything in the chat, so I don't think like they resolved between the teams or something. But this is not good. They should call it already quite clear. There is no way they can come back. So I don't know what the situation is.
Maybe they're just enjoying the architecture of the fortified towers. Want to play as long as they still have them.
Okay, the GG's coming up. What is that population?
So we have GG's. It is 218 to 42 population for the teams.
Yeah. Damn, that was pretty good for Wild Palace for sure. And you know,
and
go on.
I was gonna say, if you look at the civs, Vikings, Aztecs, the plan was Aztecs get their 50 gold in the Dark Age for Loom. They're gonna Vil fight while Vikings take water. And Burgundians, Dravidians, I don't know exactly what they were planning. Burgundians, they can get gill nets in the Feudal Age if they want a fish boom. Dravidians, they do have that dock, counts as a house and gives you 5 pop space bonus. But Lix just did Lix things.
Yeah, and he did them beautifully. Taking a look at the stats right now for worker count. And even though Lix ended up getting the worst traits early on, he allowed his team to get ahead eventually as well. And most likely because of Mr. Yo, as we were discussing earlier. You know, I think one of the reasons you might want to keep on playing over here, or rather you're not resigning quite as early, is probably so that you can start planning around the next game, maybe trying to delay it a little bit. After all, it's a little bit later for Wild Palace, I guess. I'm not really sure what other reasons there might be.
Oh, that's true. If you consider the time zones, the longer it goes, the later it gets for WWP. It's still, early evening for the former baguettes.
Yeah, if you know the game is lost already, you can probably use a little bit of extra time to wind down a little bit. I don't know, maybe try and shake it off for game number 5.
Yeah, that's what I got it. I did get an admin win against Backed once in a tournament because my team had already won the series and it was late for him, so he didn't play the game.
Right. 300 IQ strats. right there. Okay, so game 5 then is going to be match point already. We could very well see a 4-1 set over here, and for how dominant my insanity was in the previous set, Wild Pass over here is still yet to show cracks in the armor.
Yep, and we'll see. Let's check the colors. We have Berbers in the flank and Chinese in the pocket, as you might expect. And the notable thing about this map is you start with a junk, which is basically a trade cog, and you go to the opposite side of the map to trade with your enemy dock, and you get insane amounts of gold from it. It's like 170 something to 200 each trip, as long as you trade with the right dock. And more for the further away pocket players than for the flank players.
Yes. Meanwhile, Margugu is the first player to go for the trade workshop. If I'm not mistaken, on the left-hand side, he's got a villager, so yeah, he's got control of it.
It was Ville's being attacked by a bear, though, so Lix will come over and actually manage to snag it away, maybe? Oh no, he has control of it. He can just run that Ville around and create a second villager. He needs that second Ville to pop out before this Ville dies, though.
You know, I don't remember. Oh man, this is not good. He's just trying to buy himself some time, but is that going to be enough? It takes 50 seconds for the villager to come out.
Yeah, he shouldn't have fought that bear there. He should have been running. And now he's
Think
gonna
he
run
gets it?
away. And he does.
Oh!
Another bear fights Lix's-ville.
Just in time! This is so interesting. Wow. Well played. In the end, though, it's kind of awkward because he gets the villager that replaces the one that he lost, and his economy isn't really affected by it. He only ended up paying more.
Yeah, well, as long as he can control it and keep getting Vills out. Oh, they're calling a re.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes
All right.
sense.
Looks like they were fighting with Vills in the middle at the same time, too.
Well, you know, restarting over here is not going to change how Wipe of Pass is going to approach the game. So, yeah, Wipe of Pass, they still have a re available as well. So if this next iteration of the game ends up going in favor of My Insanity early on, Wipe of Pass could potentially call the re and then have a third chance.
That's true. And they did a very well-timed re at exactly 3:59 on the game clock there.
Yes.
So they waited as long as they could.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. So, I see the lobby over there. I think they already going to start in a moment. I'm not really sure if it's the one from before or not. Oh, it's the one from before. It's Arenaception.
And that could just depend on the player hosting it. I see Mountain Coast is up.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm just looking at the live tab now.
Let me check. Yeah, I'm not really sure. In the lobbies tab, it's still showing Arenaception for me, but it's been bugged ever since game 3. It doesn't matter. We know. Let me check. Yeah, Mysterio and Lix are here, so we're just waiting for My Insanity. Let's try refreshing, yes. There we go. That fixed it. Perfect. Wow. Actually, you know, for game number 3, approaching 4,000 viewers over there. I think some people are covering this on YouTube. I'm not really sure if on Facebook. I don't think T-Net is covering it, but I'm pretty sure on YouTube there are some streams for the Chinese community and for the Spanish community as well. So it's pretty good.
Well, it looks like Lix and Yo are both streaming their perspectives.
Yeah, that's gotta help quite a bit as well. I'm pretty surprised that none of the My Insanity players are doing it.
Oh, they probably want to concentrate. This is a pretty big tournament for them. I think it's the first time getting into a finals of a team game tournament like this.
I think so. So that might be also part of the reason why they took so long to resign in game number 4. Because there is only one way back, you know, for My Insanity over here. There's only one way for them to take the set, and that's going to be by winning all 3 games, 3 remaining games back to back.
Indeed.
To back.
Up and looks like we're getting started here.
Let's check. Start in a moment. And I'm in. Yes.
All right, so here we are again. We'll have WWP in the south and My Insanity in the east. Again, Berber flank, Chinese pocket, and immediately we see Margugu sending a Vil to the trade post as Lix sends a Vil to the opposite trade post. So they're both going to the same one, but the foot race, it is a bit closer for Margugu. He should get there first.
Yeah, this is really
And-
interesting. So
yeah.
we have a restart over here for My Insanity, but now Lix knows exactly what's happened. To be fair, in the previous instance, he also sent a villager forward. At the very least, this time around, Margugu is not getting targeted by a bear.
Yeah, again, he just needs to make sure that that workshop starts producing a villager immediately. They both have loom already, and it is. So as long as this villager survives long enough for that Vil to come out, he'll be in a good spot.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and he's just gonna run around a bit until the other one pops out, already 50%, and he should be fine.
Yeah, it's going
Meanwhile,
to
we
be...
got some Vil fights going on in the middle already.
There we go. Lix coming forward. Interestingly enough, Margugu is the one putting pressure around Lix's wood line, and Lix is going to utilize his own horse to, yeah, fight back.
Yeah, Margugu actually has not done a lumber camp yet, just going forward to attack Lix's lumber camp.
Certainly going to
Oh,
the
let's see,
trap.
the villagers do the shepherd animation when they attack the horse.
Oh, is that so? Right. Oh, true.
At least in Capture Age.
Yeah. I hadn't noticed. So that's one village going down for Margugu already, and this is kind of backfiring. You know, we are 4 minutes into the game. It's already past the point of restart, and they have already utilized the restart anyway. But you know, this game, I think, if it was the first instance of this map, they probably would have asked for a re again, I guess, or rather, if it was the first time.
Well, you know, the good thing is Margugu did capture that trade workshop and has the Vils popping out, but it will lose a villager to a bear, and it looks like Yo will get the other one.
Wow.
Oh, keeps her alive even.
Yeah.
Now, Yo, he's running the Vil away. If Margugu comes in right now, he might be able to snag that. I'm not sure exactly how big the distance is. The second Vil's going to pop for Yo, and then he should be okay there.
Yeah, it's gonna be fine. On the right-hand side, Lix is still fighting against Margugu. He's getting very close to Margugu's TC, so he's gotta be careful. But he realizes and he bails. He still has more villagers over here. Actually, no, that's the same villager count over here for both. And Lix is going to get pushed away. Okay.
And we see Sato already up to feudal, and interestingly enough, still no lumber camp out for Margugu. He's just gonna concentrate fully on the Vil fight. And he has fewer Vils, but this will be more idle time for Lix. I guess, do you have any straggler trees that you can chop around your TC? You have those reeds. They do have 100 wood, so you can still get wood from them.
Yeah, and that's about it. It works for the time being. He's holding just fine. And
actually, Lix had managed to send more Vils over to capture the trade workshop, and Margugu had captured the one on the left, but with the horse, I think Yo will kill that remaining villager. And that should be
really
both
good.
of those workshops for WWP.
yeah, that's really good. Earlier, Margugu actually did manage to get control of both the trade workshops, but it doesn't seem like he's going to be able to survive over here. That villager goes down before the villager comes out. That's going to be, as he said, 2 workshops over here for Rival Pass, and that's already a rough position for My Insanity.
It is. Margugu had sent another Vil to try to recapture it, but she's going to go down to those 2 guarding it.
This is ridiculous, man. All the maps selected for this set have been these very aggro maps, and it could be over very, very soon. That's going to be significantly shorter than I was expecting, but still very entertaining game, so not too bothered about it. That's assuming that this goes in favor of Rival Pass. Of course, there's still possibility for My Insanity to come back, I guess.
Yeah, well, Sato is up first, and he does have 2 galleys going forward. Based on the dock position, though, the TC will protect a lot of these fishing ships. And Sato is going to pick off 2 of them, it looks like. As long as he doesn't run into the TC. Yo just now getting up.
Beautiful. Fish ships going down, and Mysterious going for fire galleys, which will not really trade too well against Sito's standard galleys once Sito gets a few extra units. But Sito's actually going for fire galleys right now himself too, which I do find curious.
Yeah, I would have thought he might have stayed fully on galleys. Ooh, losing some HP on sailing under Elix's TC there.
And you know what? There is also the fact that Chinese, they get particularly strong demolition rafts, so I'm not really sure what the choice of going for fires is over here.
Yeah, indeed. And by the time he gets to the fishy yo, the fires will be out to keep the galleys away. He's trying to get the junk, but that thing is pretty tanky.
Which goes down from... Yeah, from Margugu down south, and up north it seems like he's going to end up losing one more, and Lix does end up losing one more over here, but he's got more compared to Margugu. No, it's actually the other way around.
Oh, now Sacho, is he going to use that horse to block the Vil from Lix? Or the Vil will just go down?
Yeah.
Well, Lix does still have that workshop, and he is at a disadvantage of villager HP unless another one pops out.
Yeah, he's not going for it just yet. Taking a look at his resources, and he should be able to queue it up. I'm not really sure what the situation is over here. Ah, actually, no, he can't. He's 2 foot short. Oh boy, that's so... It hurts so much to see.
And it looks like Sacho will be winning the water. Yo desperately trying to repair his fire galley. But with enough there, Sato should still take it out. And there's 3 Vils there that could go down for Yo. At least one of them will.
Yeah, you know, this is pretty interesting overall.
Yeah, Sato needs to do a better job of sniping the Vils, though, instead of focusing on the galleys. They're getting a lot of repairs in.
Yeah, eventually it should be enough for Mr. Yo to clean this up, and he's going to try once again.
Yeah, I think that's a bit of a mistake in micro from Sato, not going for the Vils. They were able to repair it 3 or 4 galleys there, as he brings more in now.
If you're coming back against Wipe of Pass, you cannot make any mistakes in this position. My Insanity has not really played the best water over there, and now there's a huge villager fight coming up north, plus scouts coming over from Sito that might help quite a bit against Wipe of Pass.
Yeah, like, if you can get a couple scouts out, they can recapture that trade workshop, and it looks like they probably will as one last Vil goes down for Lix. And now, oh, apparently these can be destroyed, and the villagers were repairing them.
Man,
but now Lix is gonna lose villagers to the scouts.
Yeah, he will, but this is Wipe of Palace at it again. Lix is the punching bag against both My Insanity players, and Mr. Yo is gonna be in the Castle Age.
Will be in the Castle Age, but he has taken some damage on water. I don't think Sato will be too far behind. He'd have to add in a couple of those scouts, but he does still have his fishing eco alive, he does have all of his Vils alive, and he's moving on to land.
We'll see. Mr. Yo should be able to go for the War Galley upgrade. That's going to leave him in a good amount of well, fire ships. Meanwhile, Sito struggled to keep on putting pressure. He did do some good job earlier, but the micro was not the best. So now Mr. Yo is on a larger amount of units, and very soon it's going to be a stronger unit type as well.
Indeed, but we see right now Sato clicking up to the Castle Age, and his team does have a good Vil advantage as Lix is still in the Dark Age as Margugu gets up.
Yeah, that's good.
And Lix, yeah, he has about 300 food with 2 Vils queued. Looks like he's going to stay in the Dark Age for a bit longer, but he should eventually be able to get up to Feudal.
Let's see. What does the junk do? The junks went down. I think we have both junks for Wipe Pass still, but the junks have gone down from My Insanity. I'm really sure Wipe Pass still trying to trade, but it's basically a trade cog.
Yeah, Lix's junk will have 2 HP and get away. Oh, that's 100 gold you'll get from it if it does get away.
There we go.
And Lix is on his way up to Feudal.
Finally. Perfect. So Castle Age will be here for Sito very soon. I'm taking a look at resources. He doesn't really have any stone. I think he must have sold it to go up. Meanwhile, Mr. Yo still has the stone, so he's gone for a second TC. And that means that if for whatever reason he were to lose water, he would still be fine because he can keep on going for extra villages with the second TC. That is not necessarily the case for My Insanity over here, so they gotta be cautious not to lose water control or water presence.
And remember, Yo still does have that siege workshop, or that trade workshop, and he's actually going to build a TC by it, so he's going to secure that area of the map and keep that for his team.
Yeah, that's pretty good. He's got a defensive spearman over there as well, and then he's bringing the knight over, so he might be able to get Marguga's villagers over here, I think.
Yeah, now Sato is up, and those villagers just standing there idle trying to run away as the knight ignores them. What I like about Lix is he kept one villager alive in the north of the map. He has 4 HP, but we'll have to keep an eye on him. He might be able to do something mischievous if this game goes on for a bit longer.
That could be the case, yeah. I think it's beyond the line of sight of Marguga, so should be safe for the time being. Hey.
Now that Sato's up, he's doing War Galley, looks like he has a pretty good advantage on the water. Here comes a demo, though.
That is what I was talking about, the demo! That could have been a little bit better. It was not bad, though.
Yeah, the fire ship came in just before the demo exploded, so that gave these ships a bit more HP and stats to withstand the explosion.
That could have been massive. Would you have significantly more demolition ships from what I can see for Citolo compared to Mr. Yo?
Yeah. And Lix is losing some villagers to scouts and a camel that try to pathfind their way to kill the ones in the back.
Marguga's losing some villagers up north himself.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, that Vil walling himself in from the night. It is
Beautiful.
30 to 23 villager counts for Marguga versus Lix here.
Let's push over here.
My worry, though, is that one knight from Yo could capture this trade workshop.
Oh, that is true.
Oh, he found Lix's Vil.
That was pretty good. So we see a barracks come up over here for Marguga, and it doesn't seem like Mr. Yo is going to capture the trade workshop just yet. It's not like Marguga was utilizing it anyway.
Is, right there.
Yeah. And that's going to be 2 trade workshops for Mr. Yo. You know, that's going to be the equivalent to having 4 TCs right now, given what he's got.
It is, because the other one's very well secured with the monastery and a TC there.
Very, very close. Castle H is coming up both for Lix and for Marguga, so Lix is somehow keeping up.
Yeah, somehow. I don't know what he's going to do with a 20 Vil Castle Age, but he's going to try to get an economy running. Somehow.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping for, I don't know, a douche attempt or something that would buy Mr. Yo some extra time, because going for full economy over here, Mr. Yo kind of relies on Lix providing him with some safety so that he can get away with it. Otherwise, we see the pressure coming out from Sito on the left-hand side with scouts, and Mr. Yo is going to have to defend himself actively, and his economy is going to be less than ideal.
Yeah. And, well, Yo does have those workshops and does have the extra TCs in, but I feel like Sato just feels slightly ahead in terms of military and his map control right now with how he can raid with his camels and scouts. He is down in Vils, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Mr. Yo basically some 6 military units on land, I think. You disregard the monk and the spearman, that's only 5. Seems like he went for 1 more. But, yeah, it's pretty bad still.
And Sato is going to recapture that trade workshop for his team. Try to even up the villager production there.
Stable's coming out from Marguga as well up north. And right now, it seems to be the calm before the storm. We don't really have too much action left anymore, but I'm pretty sure that's going to change very, very soon, especially as, you know, Sito is going to start putting some pressure. He's going for a castle right now, so we might see him go for... Do you expect him to go for archery and cavalry himself, or are you expecting to see... Marguga should provide the cavalry, right, with the discount he gets with Berbers.
Yeah, I would think long run you want the Berber player to do cavalry and the Chinese player to do archers. But I mean, you could also do it the other way and have the Chinese player do cav and the Berber player go for camel archers. And I mean, at the start, the map is so wide open, you might even consider having both players do cav as an opening and then switch later on.
It seems like it's going to be the case. For my insanity, they're going for the Chinese with archery and the Berber player with cavalry, and then for the other team, it's going to be the other way around, with Lix going for the castle over here. It's going to start producing camel archers.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, this will be a 22 villager castle attempt from Lix. He's putting up a second TC and making the camel archers. I don't know if he's going to have the economy for this.
What is the villager distribution you need to sustain a single castle camel archer production? I think with 20 you might... Sorry, what?
I was going to say first castle, because you need this. You need stone for the castle, and then they are wood and gold.
Yeah.
So it's not a food unit, at least.
Yeah. But if you want to produce villagers and then camel archers at the same time, that's going to be quite tight. There we go. It seems like Margugo is going over to the north. He's got the monk over there. He's got camels. I'm really sure if he's trying to get a relic. I don't think he can see a relic. Yeah.
And also remember, his original TC has had everything cleaned up around it. He has no more fish, and there's fire ships there, so he can't really make fills from it anymore.
Beautiful.
You're gonna pick up a relic near Flix's castle.
Where is that? Oh boy.
Just north of the castle. But there are camel archers now.
Yeah.
Online.
You count the camel archers. Conversions over here as well. Conversion potential. So Lix ends up bailing from there. He did already manage to get some villagers down, but still my insanity is looking a little bit stronger for economy by quite a bit.
Yeah, and they have Yo going knights, but Margugu going camels. So you do think that Margugu should have something of an advantage there if they have to take a straight up fight.
Yeah, for sure. Until we bring any ranged units, that's going to be the case. There we go. Big engagement over here once again. 8 camels. Chickens are starting to show up right now for Sito. So that's good. And the camel archers are good, but they are nowhere to be found. Where are the camel archers?
There's 6 of them about.
Yeah, kind of out of position over here. Only joining after some damage has been taken already by Mr. Yo, and my insanity is starting to get a little bit further ahead over here. Meanwhile, Lix has struggled to even keep villager production going. It seems like he's going to be stuck on less than 30 villager count for quite a while.
Yeah, and that's what worries me, is Sito has actually more vills than Mr. Yo does now. So if he can defend, Yo has been spreading out his knights and trying to raid instead of taking one big fight. So that's allowed my insanity to take a couple of good engagements early on.
Yeah. The raid with camel archers is pretty good over here for Lix, and we see Mr. Yo go up north, try to get the raids going with knights, but when they are separate, when they are split, Margugu should be able to clean the knights up no problem, and then the camel archers are only going to be as good as the defenses are for Sito, right? Because they cannot push against the castles, against the TCs.
Right. We just now have Bodkin coming in for the camel archers, so they haven't had Bodkin for a while, and Sito himself doesn't have Bodkin on his Chuko, he's only fletching.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a castle being denied from Sito. That's a lot of vills that just went down from Yo's knights.
That is true. I do... well, we see right now the worker count's about the same, right? For Sito and for Mr. Yo. However, I do like Berbers over here in this position much better. Mainly because the knights are going to be cheaper. It's going to be more cost efficient, so you can go for more knights for the same amount of resources compared to Mr. Yo, and that's the unit you want to use. Mr. Yo wouldn't be able to go for anything other than the knights over here or camels, right? Because otherwise he cannot push, but technically Sito should be in a much better position because of the discount.
Yeah, I think Sito just actually lost the castle though without deleting it. That's a lot of stone.
Oh boy. Yeah, seems to be
Yo's army count.
Looking pretty good. Sito has chosen to ignore military production in favor of going up to the Imperial Age. You know, I don't think it's necessarily the worst because they do have enough to defend themselves with, but they are not going to be doing the pushing anymore.
Yeah, Sito had that eco advantage, but losing all those vills on the castle, now going up to Imp. Yo now is up to about 100 villagers. And, well, the advantage of Margugu over Lix won't really matter as Yo gets more boomed. As these few camels aren't going to contribute much to the fight.
Just gotta be careful over there, all the knights. We'll probably be able to clean the camels, but not with the Chukanus over there. And Imperial is on the way for Mr. Yo, while Wobble Pass is significantly ahead in military count. It feels like the earlier Imperial from Sito at the cost of military production might actually come by to bite them.
It depends on if they can actually defend with these Chuko News. They finally do have Bodkin. Will be under a castle and a TC, and they have a few camels there. He's going to try to make a little choke point for them to stand in.
They're going there.
Enough.
Beautiful. I think they can still get surrounded over here, but that's too much damage Mr. Yo's taken, so he's going to bail. Well, I do like the prospect of Cavaliers so much better than just Shikanu, to be fair. Especially with the production potential for Sito. He's limited to producing from as many castles as he can get up. Only 2 right now.
Yeah, Margugu has a lot of hills that are vulnerable here. But Yo he's trying to push in before he gets Imp. And he's losing a lot of knights there.
Well, with all the damage over here, Margugu's taking actually. Lix is significantly ahead of villager count. Not that it matters, given it's still 32, right? But nice turn of events over here for Wobble Pass. They're getting some momentum.
And this is Sito clicking up, and now we're going to see the mobility of those camel archers come into play, as they can come over and help push those camels from Margugu away. There's enough camel archers there. Oh, but here comes a demo. Here comes a demo on the knights. Yoda, you just notices, but loses a few there.
No, that's good. Yeah, taking a look up north, you see Mr. Yo he's just pounding units. You can see the ant line over there going forward. He just needs some support because, once again, against Chikunu's aim camels, it's going to be a little bit too tough. At the very least, until he gets the Cavalier.
He has 7 stables pumping out those knights right now, and he's just about to click up, but Margugu's camels are about to be cleaned up, and that will probably be the end of what Margugu can contribute. Meanwhile, the camel archers, they can shoot and they can run away, and they don't have to fight. And Sito making a castle, but that's going to be pushing Lix. I don't think pushing Lix really gives him anything here. I think he needs to find a way to hold against Yo.
I think it might be a defensive castle, only so that he can control the gold. I'm really sure if he's got any controlled access back home. He does, it seems, behind the TC to the very right. Okay, yeah, that castle could have been better.
Yeah, and now the knights from Yo, armor just about to come in, Cavalier on the way. Margugu trying to get some quick gates up, but the knights can stand there and take out the TC. They have their armor now.
Oh man, this is so rough for my insanity. They started really strong. They were come at it. You know, come to us against Wobble Pass game number 1, and they were actually able to clutch it up. But then games 2 through game 5 over here looking so much better for Wobble Pass. Even in this game, it was looking much better for my insanity. They struggled to take advantage of their lead, and now Wobble Pass is coming back for, I think it's the second time that Wobble Pass is coming back from a pretty precarious position.
Yeah, indeed, and we have some raiding on the left side from Sito, denying a castle from Yo. But again, there's not much those Shuko News can do, and they don't have the mobility. As soon as WWP wants to, they can take an engagement with the Camel Archers and Cavaliers at the same time.
I think this is the last stand. We have basically 95% or so of the military over here for my insanity consists of those Chikunuso. They get cleaned up. Oh no, it was not all of it. But yeah, still, you know, 50 to 21, 2.5 times as much army for Wobble Pass right now.
Yeah, and Margugu down 14 villagers. He is not going to get back into this game at all.
Yeah, yeah, there we go. The GG's coming up over there. I was going to say I didn't want to kill the hype over here, but the game is over. And it is, man. It is. The game is over.
And, well, as you said, game 1, my insanity looked pretty strong. But WWP hanging on, winning the next 4 games.
Absolutely incredible.
And they're all villager fights.
So, I'm going to ask the players to see if they are available for an interview. Well, Mr. Yo, most likely. And right. If you would like to stick around and if he agrees, we could do the interview together if you want. Would you like that?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Let's do it.
Okay, could we have a quick entry, yeah. Let me see. We're friends already, right? In Discord? Yeah, I
I
think we are. Okay.
so you can send me a request if we're not. Yes, we are.
If only it were that easy in real life. Okay. So I'm waiting for Mr. Yo to answer. Meanwhile, we can go through the achievements.
Yeah, let me take a look at the stats there. So a very dominant performance from him. 184 kills there in that last game.
Let's see. Yeah, fantastic. Better than 3-2 for Mr. Yo. Better than 4-3 for Lix as well. And both Sito and Marguga's struggling quite a bit. What about economy? Wow, that is a lot of extra resources for Mr. Yo.
That is, even after losing a lot of his fish early on.
All right. So Mr. Yo says that he's up to it. So I'm just going to bring him over, and hopefully we can get that going. All right. Can you hear me? T-West.
I can hear you. I don't have Yo right now. Oh, there he is.
Hello?
Hello. Hello.
Hey. There we go. Congratulations, Mr. Yo. In Wild Wolf Palace, your performance this tournament has been amazing, and you continue to deliver. Even in the last series, 4-1 is a very dominating result. So, how are you feeling?
Yeah. Thank you. I'm very amazing, but I feel like it was Licks carrying all the time. So I just bury this farm and wipe out the battlefield. That's all I have done.
Right. We were talking with T-West and usually with the stream chat as well, that every time you say Lix is carrying, but it seems like every time he's trying to play the punching bag so that you can get away and carry at the end of the game, and that way both of you carry each other, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Like, we're a perfect couple.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Probably should have signed out with that name, but it was taken already by the Vietnamese. So, T-West, do you
Yes.
have any questions?
So what did you think about the first couple games? Both of you had one civ that was the same for both teams. You had that Gurjars used in the first game. I think it was Gots in the second game and Poles in the third game. Do you think that they had some strategies for countering the Licks villager rushes going into the games?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we both have some same civ. Tells that we are both well prepared. Like, we have been watching the record game of theirs, so we knew what kind of civ they would want to pick.
All right. That's pretty good.
And I think looking at your map draft, did you pick those maps thinking that Lix was going to Vil fight on all of them? Was that your plan for going into them?
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of the same home maps that we pick every round, and Lix was doing the same thing. But I don't think you can, even if you know he was coming, and it's hard to stop, right? His strategy is just hard to stop.
It is.
And
now, I'm pretty curious. Sorry. After game number one, we were talking about the map draft, and we noticed that they deliberately left those maps open because for the first map, for the first game, the way that we draft is that one team is going to ban some maps and then the other team is going to pick. They could have banned Costa Giotto, which we have seen you play and succeed at before. So the fact that they left the maps open, the fact that they left Berbers, Poles, without being banned, it seemed to me as if they were expecting you to play the way you did. And especially after the way that game number one went, where Lix did go forward and you played your your usual playstyle, right? And they were able to
Mm-hmm.
offset for that. Did that cause you to worry for the outcome of the next games?
Yeah, it kind of did. Like we we're feeling like a lot of pressure. We were worrying about if this same kind of strategy would work or not.
Right.
But I think the reason they didn't ban Berbers and like Poland, etc., because they have the similar strategy. Like I think Marco always go to Wilfice as well, same as Lix.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't want to go to they didn't want to ban their own strategy. I think.
Right. Yeah. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
Mr. T West,
Yeah.
would you like to ask
So,
something else?
so I guess let's talk about that second game. It felt like you were a bit behind at the start, but came back with some cataphracts from the Byzantines. They're not a unit we get to see that often, but they worked out pretty well. Did you enjoy playing with them?
Yeah. Of course, I always like the unit. It feels good to play it. But in the early games, we did have a really bad fight with them, and the Persian player had the fish, had access
Right.
to fish, and I didn't. So we thought it was going to be bad for us, but then somehow we get to reverse the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you feel like Byzantines were, even if you got pushed back, there was still a good civ for that map in that situation?
No, I don't think it's the saves. Like Margot did made some mistake there and lost his forward forward buildings and his forward army, and he was getting really big hit in his base by Licks. I think
Yeah,
that's
Lich does
how
such a good
we
job about that.
yeah.
All right. So I'm pretty curious if you have any word for your opponents as Le Baguette, now My Insanity. They changed the name for the final. Um, they are a fairly new team over here, an up and comer. They've been getting some pretty good results lately. So I would like to know what your perception of them as an opponent was for the final set over here, and if you have something to tell them.
First, well played. Like they beat the Finland team like 4-1, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they beat the Finland, and at first two game at least they are giving us really hard time, and I think they already achieved really well as a new team. Like back then when our first team SY formed, I don't remember we get this far in a tournament that fast.
Right.
So I want to say they are playing amazingly, and I believe they will improve more and win some tournament in the future.
Okay. Well, that's pretty good from you. So, do you have any other questions to us?
No, I think that about wraps it up.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Yo, for playing. Congratulations once again for winning Terranova Duos, man. And say
Yeah,
congratulations. Yeah. Say congratulations
Thank you.
to Alex as well, man. And thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview. It's very much appreciated.
Thank you for the tournament. And it's been fun. I like all the maps. I like the settings a lot.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, I'll see you and I'll talk to you later privately, Mr. Yo. Take care.
Sure. See you. Bye.
See ya.
Bye bye. So I'm calling okay, there we go. Hey T West.
Yeah, so thanks for having me on to cast today. That was a lot of fun.
There we go. I don't know if you want to take some time to say something about yourself, your channel, your YouTube, when people can find you and show you some support. First off, thank you so much
I
for.
don't need to sell out.
Okay, I'm going to do it
fine.
for you. once we are done with the call. Thank you so much for taking the time, man. It's appreciated.
No problem. It was fun. Thanks for setting up this tournament. It was a lot of fun seeing all of the different maps that people had come up with. I think we saw some very creative maps and some very creative strategies being used on them.
Absolutely.
Hopefully people find counters to the villager rushes in the future, so we can see some more more longer lasting games. But I think everything we saw today was amazing. So thanks a lot for organizing it.
Completely agree. Okay, I'll see you next time, man.
All right, I'll see you later then.
All right, guys, that was T-West. You can find him on YouTube. You can find him on his Twitch page. Sorry, you can do !CoCaster, and you're going to get a link to his Twitch page. And that's going to be it for Terra Nova Duos. It was quite the ride. It was a wild one. Thank you so much to everybody who supported. Orlu, thank you so much for the raid. Miles Idols, thank you so much for the resub. Chantini as well. Severe Beryllium, I'm hoping that I'm saying that correctly, as well as Dinana, Mr. Whitebeard. Guys, thank you so much for the subs over here. I see Nicolas even coming in as well. And thank you so much for the support. So I'm just going to say a few final words over here before hopping off. I just hope you enjoyed the tournament as much as I did. It did not come without its issues, of course, especially at a time where Age of Empires is so packed for high-level tournaments. It's very hard to find a good time to host these things. So that ultimately resulted in some situations where teams would have to resign or some sets wouldn't be played. But I think it was still pretty good, and especially in the playoff stages, I think it more than compensated for some of the hiccups during the group stage. So a moment to acknowledge Huevo Coyote and the Mad Cather as well, because they were absolutely instrumental in the tournament. As I already said earlier to T-West, they talked to me like fresh out of Return of the Clans, and they were like, would you like to do a 2v2 version of Terra Nova? And I was like, well, that sounds actually freaking awesome, let's do it. And we put it together in like 10 days, which was a lot of work. Huevo Coyote put so much time into this tournament, and he's not streaming the games, right? He's not getting subs. So he's definitely put a lot more money than the money he got out of it, right? And Huevo Coyote is just an incredible member of the community. I just want to acknowledge the fact that...
Great tourney Nova. Felicidades.
Thank you so much, Rockbird. I appreciate it. And Di Geronimo as well. Thank you so much for the bits. But yeah, you see... Just want to acknowledge that because he's been working on the World Desert Championship, on Return of the Clans, and he's gotten very little in return. He's doing it for as a hobby, basically, right? And he's just sunk so much time into it that I just gotta acknowledge that, and I hope you guys can show Huevo Coyote some love as well when you see him around. And for the Mad Cather as well, of course, the tournament wouldn't have been possible without him. He's sponsoring the whole thing. So big shout out to Mad Cather. Many of these maps in the tournament were made by him as well. I would say probably north of 66% or so were made by the